We'll just chill for a bit and then we can like start. Also,
How
me and
long
Pippin
do
are
we
probably
usually
getting
record
drunk.
for?
Hour and a half.
I'd be impressed if you were able to get drunk in an hour and a half, to be honest.
Oh, I
I'll be
definitely.
right back.
That's
I
fucking
grab my
Twitter
apple honey.
talk, Eli.
I know it's Twitter
How much
talk,
money
but-
you want to put on it?
Eli, I have 3 beers in front of me. They're all getting finished in this hour and a half at least.
I don't
Okay,
have any
alright,
beer
alright.
in the house.
Unfortunate.
Sounds like an
Yeah, I
issue.
don't-
You need the correct
Yeah.
medication, Todd.
Oh.
Yeah, I would correct
You,
it, but
you
I'm
failed
not
to
gonna do
ask
anything.
what I do have, which is strong wine and hard liquor.
That's pussy shit. You gotta be able to put back 30 beers in the span of 30 minutes. That's a minute.
Tell you what, Jonah,
per
when you
beer.
can slam tons of apple honey, you let me know.
I could definitely do it. It's
Anybody
the-
can slam
Right,
apple honey.
Jonah.
You
Just
can
don't
slam
Slam
it,
it.
it's just a
about it.
mistake.
Until you
Pippin.
can slam a fifth of Popov.
I've never. I don't know what
God.
pop-off is.
Really
It's
bad
a level
vodka.
of alcohol.
Oh
they
god,
never
I
wanna
can't. Not vodka. Any alcohol but vodka, just for the simple fact. because-
Tequila.
Oh, is it tequila?
Fuck!
Okay.
Oh,
No, Popov is vodka. Also,
Popov is
Jonah,
vodka, but
Okay.
How
I
do
just
I
wanted to
say-
state another
I
alcohol.
was drinking
that's
basically
terrible.
straight
I'll say-
Popov when I first when I turned 21.
there was one time where I was really upset over something, and I started taking double shots of vodka, and that is when I ended up in a trash can asleep.
Nice.
And it wasn't a fun time, if I'm being honest.
Sounds like a great time.
Vodka, for me, I can still drink it and I can still do it, but drinking it straight is very hard, and sometimes if I'm drunk already, it starts to make me gag. So,
Now imagine for a moment, everyone here just drinks straight rail gin the entire time.
the other 2 alcohols that, like, or liquors that I
I'm
don't
too much
like,
of a gin snob to drink that swill.
how do I say, for me personally, gin and tequila, I'm not big fans of. I don't like either of them that much.
It's okay to be wrong, Jonah. It's all right.
No. He's right.
I like whiskey. Whiskey is my personal thing. Like, whiskey is my favorite choice.
Listen, I do
wrong.
not discriminate with my liquors.
I don't discriminate either. I just, like, how do I say, there's ones that I prefer and one I don't like as much. Granted, I've only ever had, like, really cheap gin. So,
It's all
like,
about personal preference, but I definitely hate gin. Like, I almost vomited when I had gin, and I was almost, like, blackout at that point.
Oof.
That could be why.
I had the
Maybe.
drink from Cowboy Bebop. I made that drink. I think you were there, Eli. That was not a fun experience.
I
What,
might have
the
been there in
The
spirit.
hair of the
'cause I
dog or whatever it was?
No, it's not Cat of the Dog. It's something similar to that, but it's a raw egg, gin, and like pepper and
What?
some other things. Yeah, it
There's
was.
your first problem.
It was not a good choice.
Oh no,
You
that's
can own-
shit. Something oyster.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is oyster. Yeah, it's fuck. It's like
I think in the show they just call it an oyster, or they might have an
it-
extra tag on the front of it, but usually it's just called like a prairie oyster or something.
prairie oyster. That's what it was.
Ugh.
Apparently, it's not as bad as it sounds.
I thought it would be I thought it would be pretty decent. I
It-
did not like
It's
it.
a whole raw egg, 2 shakes of Worcestershire sauce,
Yep.
a shake of Tabasco sauce,
Yep.
a pepper, and I don't remember if there's anything else.
And then the gin.
That's it, and a shot of gin.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is if you use cheap gin in a mix like that, that's already kind of a volatile liquid.
hmm
You're gonna take already a bad time. You need something like basically what the goal of the gin is to add just like a little bit of that juniper. Whereas if you do $5 gin, you are getting at best pine needles, at worst subhuman thrill.
I did it in the middle of the day, and I didn't have $5 gin. I probably had like $20 gin, but still, it was not a fun experience.
$25 gin's where it's at, man. It's anything $25 and between $25 and $40. Excellent.
I really like the botanist.
I think I had no, it couldn't have been Seagram's. What was it?
Seagram's is garbage.
I know it's garbage. I know Seagram's is garbage, but I don't think I had Seagram's. I'm trying to remember what I had.
You probably had Bombay. Bombay is only like
Bombay is
I can only-
okay.
No,
It's-
I was wrong. I had Seagrams. I did have Seagrams.
That's your problem.
That was my problem. Yeah, you're right. No, I don't doubt that. I just remember that being one of my experiences with gin and just going.
I should
Like
try
the-
Aviator when the gin I've got currently runs out.
100%. Aviator is a great gin.
Nice.
It's almost at
I
the
go
like
to is
I-
still Botanist.
Yeah, there's so words are hard. Aviator, you'll actually get a similar taste to Hendrix or the Botanist. Not quite the same, but it's similar. It's on that level.
No, we're not promoting any of these alcohols. But
fuck
at
we
the
are.
same time, if you
That-
like the
that's
sound
given.
of one of them, you should definitely drink one.
We
of them.
aren't
Drink more
sponsored by
faster.
them. However,
We just think they're cool.
we
Remember, kids,
Or-
we promote alcoholism and alcoholism accessories.
No, I'm an alcoholic. We do not promote it. We are the alcoholics. All right.
Speak for yourself. I'm promoting it.
When can we?
You're out of college. You're allowed to be an alcoholic now.
When can we just set this up as like an AA meeting? I think it would be really kind of funny.
Don't drink
Jonah,
enough for that.
you know that you'd be on the receiving end of this if you were
I barely drink anymore.
Same.
allegedly.
Like this is the first time I've drank since last week, probably.
Oh, that's
Same.
so long.
I'm gonna go check to see what I have.
Yeah,
and make
but
it
like
real quick.
last
I'll be
week
right
I
back.
probably had a total of like 2 beers. Like,
That's
If-
fair. I
if-
had
yeah.
many drinks on my birthday, but that was it.
Like if I drink now, it's like 2 drinks a night. If I'm lucky, it's like twice a week I drink. So that would be like 4 drinks if I'm lucky. Like it's not that much anymore.
I look back on the amount that you drank back in college and wonder how you did it.
No, I know exactly why I did it.
Not why, just how.
Oh no, I still
'Cause,
think I can
like-
do it.
Because like I don't know, I just can't drink that amount anymore. I start to like feel queasy and stuff. It's really bad.
Well, Eli, it's because you're
Uh-huh.
not trained anymore.
It's true. I'm well out of practice. I probably couldn't even drink 12 beers in a day. You know,
I think-
you gonna
think
drink
the
the board
issue
over
is-
Carney?
Oh, I'm drinking the board.
I'm gonna attempt it.
I will. I will take sips of your guys's. Actually,
That's all you're allowed to do, unfortunately.
Sherry,
Unless I just-
Imagine trying to set up like podcast equipment inside of the KBC.
we
and be
could
like,
totally
hey,
do it. We could, if we had a big enough following, we could do it. Like,
More than the
I don't think
people
we're going
who
to
listen-
explode by Carney.
no, we're not gonna explode by Carney, but like, that's the thing is like, I think if we went to the KBC and like we were like somewhat popular and just be like, hey, we're gonna set up some cameras, some microphones. It's gonna be 11 a.m. Like when you're not probably at your slowest, and just sit down, record for an hour and a half, have some drinks, shout them out. Like,
We'll,
I think
we'll
they would
record
allow
for
that.
like 30 minutes.
I
per-
know
per,
a
like-
guy.
5 drinks.
I know a guy down here who could make us all T-shirts.
We don't need t-shirts, dude.
No, no, we don't need to.
Not just yet.
The merch
I
comes
return.
when we're ready to sell out.
Dude,
When
could just make
we
them
break
for
1,000
ourselves.
views.
Yeah, if we ever break 1,000 views, man, that'll be pretty.
Views on one video
entertaining.
or views total? Because we're pretty close, I think, to 1,000 views total.
On a single video.
Okay.
Y'all
We
are
got
sitting here
500 on
discussing
one.
metrics in potential recording time. You
Yeah.
fools.
Don't
Nah,
care.
it's okay.
I
We
mean,
like to.
it's just
Well-
interesting to talk about and just like pretend, you know?
It's good to have dreams, guys.
This is nice. I'm still just dying at the fact that the one where it's Pippin sees shadow people has 500,000 views.
I can
So
tell
I-
you why.
I don't listen to anything in particular. After it's recorded, I only listen to what I participate in. What did that pertain exactly?
It was basically Pippin, like in the middle of the night sometimes, or just like in general, we'll see like shadows in the corners of his eyes. Like at random times, Pippin just sees things in like his peripheral vision that he thinks is like shadow people.
Sometimes you
For
just
me,
gotta
it's
acknowledge it.
I can relate to some degree, but only when I'm like super stressed out. But it's rarely people for me. It's like almost dog-like or something.
You see
Mine is
Nina.
just movement.
Hmm.
Uh,
The best of friends.
Oh, no.
Completely inseparable.
Yeah, I had my first instance of sleep paralysis in a really long time when I was on my work trip to Texas.
You gotta do is
Terrifying.
force yourself to come at the demons.
Oh,
Yeah,
And-
so
and
what you
yes,
do right as you're the most paralyzed, you just force yourself to orgasm.
Wait,
You guys can't do hands free?
did we ever introduce this episode?
No.
No.
I was waiting to.
Hey, welcome to the
Hey,
cabin
I'm the
chat.
damn host. I get to do I get to do what I want.
We're derailing this shit.
so noted on the drink. I did not have any mixers, unfortunately.
You're just doing
Straight
straight
gin.
But fortunately, I do have a band 14 on the rocks. So, cheers.
Nice.
Cheers.
My
I'm drinking some apple honey.
My drink
On
of
that
choice.
I think I'll start this podcast.
I don't even get to say my drink of choice.
Nope.
That's
Fuck
okay. I'll get fucked.
Get
You
fucked,
get to answer
dude.
after I introduce.
Sure.
Hello, and welcome to the cabin chat. Today we have Eli, Jonah, Pippin, and Mr. Tood. We're going to do something that I think everyone can relate to a little bit, and also kind of explore my musical tastes, and things of that nature.
Clearly, I'm
So
biased.
Eli, what is your drink of choice?
Oh, okay. I get to
nope.
actually answer. So I'm not drinking any alcohol right now like some of the other people, but I am currently drinking a mixture of a protein powder and some almond milk because that's all I have.
Right from the titty.
Straight from the almond
Almond
titty.
titty.
I really wish I really wish I didn't know that. That makes me actually like really sad for you.
What,
Honestly,
almond titties?
almond milk isn't that bad when you mix it with whey protein. I don't drink it by itself because it's terrible by itself, but when you mix it with whey protein, it's way better
I
for you.
have a meme
Like,
for this. I have to find it while we discuss.
I used to
activate my
drink a fair bit
almonds.
of rice milk.
So, the first topic I'd like to discuss, what Todd will really enjoy, and the second he wanted to be in this podcast, it just popped in my head.
Oh,
We
no.
want to discuss the reason that Polka never dies.
Oh, of course. Amazing.
Todd, as a resident Polka expert, well, why do you think Polka never dies?
I admittedly do not know polka that well. I
we got my
appreciate-
girlfriend into this one.
That'd be fun. I know you were talking about that before, Pippin. Apparently, your family's got like a whole like reserve of polka music on
Yeah,
disc.
so her grandfather used to run a radio station down in Chicago. And so they had a lot of polka music playing pretty much all the time. And her dad took it over, I think, for a little bit. And they have like their old house, the garage is converted into a recording studio. And so sometimes they'll have people come out and do recordings there. And he took me into the basement of the house they're in currently, and they have literal wall to wall just stacked with CDs and recordings of various artists. A lot of polka music. I got like 4 polka discs from him the last time I visited.
Now what brand of polka is it? Are we talking like polka punk, ska polka, polka, old polka?
It's a lot of old polka.
See, I think the reason why polka doesn't die is because it has such a beat to it. Like,
I think it's
If you-
dead.
no,
No,
it's not
no,
dead
it's
yet.
not.
It's
Mm,
more
definitely
alive
not
than
that.
ever, Jonah.
It
Yeah.
really is.
So, like,
Thanks to
old polka is-
Spotify.
Yeah, old polka is kind of dead. Like, you don't really see much old polka out there, but like the new polka, kind of bobs, man. Like, they go hard, and like
It's like
the main
the
thing.
power metal version of polka.
Yeah,
It's
so-
power polka.
I really
So, like,
Also, just polka in general is like the traditional party music.
Yeah, so like anybody can get into it and start dancing along with it, as if like, because it has such a good rhythm to it. It's consistent, and like even the slight variations throughout the songs themselves really like call to people to just dance, especially if they're drunk. Like drunk polka dancing,
Honestly,
crime.
I can.
What you
I'm
gotta
gonna
do, you gotta find the old Polish immigrants in the UP that still know how to play the accordion. and like 90% of them know how to polka.
Oh yeah.
What the
Mary said there's gonna be polka at when we get married.
That's awesome.
I'm still barking up that tree with Bree, but we'll see. We'll see how much progress I get.
I'll
About polka? She's against polka?
No, it's more of just like she worries that her family might be against it because like you never
Tell them
know.
to fuck off. It's your wedding.
Pretty
Like
much.
of all things, Bree can play at the
Also, doesn't
wedding.
she not get along with most of her family?
I mean, that's fair. So like, it just causes extra drama that we don't want to deal with
All I'll
during
say
a
is
wedding.
this: I've been at one wedding where there is polka. I was not the biggest fan, personally, but that's just my personal tastes.
Well, Jonah, you can just turn your ears off when that happens.
It's okay to be wrong.
No, I'll just be sitting at the bar and getting fucking hammered.
That's what I was about to say. If you're not enjoying the music, drink more.
Mhm.
Check again. Drink more.
It's
It's a
simple
feedback
process.
loop.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's basically
If not
TLC.
enjoying, keep going.
Like, you guys have seen the video I sent where that one dude
Baddie
is like,
streams and Miss Heather Lynn, the
they're
first
like
female
filming a
guest we've had on
podcast,
here.
and he,
Yeah,
like,
this
they're
is
all
40.
talking,
You count
and he like
female
pulls
Eli.
out like a
Eli.
bottle of vodka or whatever, and he just starts
Undersized
unscrewing
dick or
the
an
top,
oversized
flips
clit?
it
We
off,
don't know.
and just starts
What's
dumping it into his drink. And then they all stop what they're doing and look at him like, what the fuck? That's gonna be
It's so
me. I hope you know that. Like,
2 shots
Have you
of
met
vodka.
Have you met Baddie?
Listen,
Or
Jonah,
is she?
if you're not having fun at a wedding, you're doing a wedding wrong. You should-
Yeah.
True. It's true.
I've
Gotta say,
always had fun at
Will's-
every wedding I've been to.
Will's wedding was definitely the most fun I've had at a wedding.
That was so much fun.
That was awesome. Who had what was it, a 25-piece jazz band?
Oh yeah. It was,
Good lord.
What?
That was,
It was-
awesome. Yeah, the tech jazz band played. It
Oh,
was
okay, that makes
absolutely
sense.
amazing.
Lab band played and they rocked it.
yeah.
I
You
got
think I
steam.
could get the pep band to play at my wedding?
It's not that hard.
Pippin, you think you could have $300?
Honestly, mood.
$300 for, I don't know how many hours they were there for, but that's worth it.
Yeah, literally, you pay them $300 and they'll come play for anything, really, as long as it's
Well-
within reason.
It's for a 30-piece band, pep band,
Yeah.
and every pep band member usually gets $20.
Nice.
Pippin, I can't keep a straight face after what you just said in the house chat.
Oh,
I'm
no.
sorry to derail this. I'm sorry to derail this,
What's
but
happened?
the post-
Takes 4 wipes to know. It only took 3.
I'll,
That's true.
I'll throw in a picture of that.
That's so true. I feel that. The 4th wipe, you're like, oh, this kind of hurts.
I
Dude, have
tried.
you ever had? Okay, hold on. Have you ever had like the most rancid diarrhea possible? Like this shit is just spraying out, and then you go to wipe and you're like, first wipe is just disgusting. Second wipe just disgusting. Third wipe clean.
Yeah, it's scary.
I would like to make a comment, guys, and this is more of an observation. What I've noticed: why does every episode come back to poop?
I think this is just what we talk about, man. I'm
Everybody
being real.
poops, man. That's
Everybody
as simple as that.
Wait. Okay, I have a question, Pippin, on this topic before we go back to the actual good topic.
Yeah.
Have you ever had one of those shits where you just keep wiping and it's like a fucking like magic erase marker where it just like it keeps fucking coming and you can't
Yeah.
get it to go away? What the
Yeah.
fuck? I
Yeah,
hate
I've
those.
used- I've had it-
Crayons up your ass.
Yeah, I've had it where like I basically used a whole roll of toilet paper before because I'm like, it just doesn't stop.
The worst is like how bad, like how raw your ass is after
Oh
the
god,
fact.
yeah, it's the worst.
And like sometimes if you wipe just a little too hard, there will be like a little bit of blood that comes out of it.
A
'Cause
little
you're-
bit?
At that point, you just jump in the shower. Fuck it.
It's literally because like your ass is so sensitive to like contact with anything, it will
Mhm.
actually just start to bleed like very easily from just minor things
Pippin,
like that.
I've thought about buying a bidet.
Thought about it too.
I've used it before. My dad has one. They're all right.
I hate
Never used
bidets.
one before, but they're not exactly expensive, so.
No,
I-
do it.
I don't like bidets just because like I don't like things anywhere near my butt.
You
Man,
put your
what a
hand
shitty
in your
topic.
hand.
Hey
With
Sherry, what's
toilet
your favorite
paper.
kind of music?
Thank you, Eli. and And that's a very complicated question. I love all music.
I feel that.
You don't like the
Do you
music
have
that
a
involves your
particular
butt?
favorite band?
Musical farts?
What was that, Todd?
Do you have a particular favorite band?
Well,
Or
I have a current
musical group,
favorite
whatever the
band.
case.
There
Sorry,
you go.
So my current favorite band is The Warning. It's three Mexican girls from Monterey. Just really rock, and they really kick ass. New album. So I actually wanted to discuss this. So you know how like we a couple weeks ago in the house chat we went on a spree of like just listing all our favorite bands,
Yeah.
or not bands but favorite albums.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
mine was basically just a band's list.
And how do I say? I might try and do that as a future episode. But that's up to you, Sherry. Like, do what you want.
So
Yeah, we're on the
well,
topic.
it's because it kind of got out of hand. So I
Yeah.
looked at the 9x9 and I'm like, I'm missing something. What am I missing? And then I made it a 4x4, and I'm like, still missing something. And then I made it a 5x5, and I'm like, there we go.
Fucking
25 bands. Yes.
Hell yeah.
25
music
albums.
Majors.
That's a
Jesus
lot.
Christ.
Hey, it's 25 albums. If it were bands, it'd be an entirely different list.
And
Yeah,
please
I-
tell me it is all just like, I don't know, Blink 182 albums or something.
That's Eli.
yeah,
that'd
I
be
know.
me.
Yeah, I know, but
Well, that's actually really convenient because I have it up here with me.
Oh,
you
God.
fucker.
He was ready.
Put it in. Drop it in.
I have a question.
Drop
Does
that
everybody have their 3x3s?
I was just
Yeah.
gonna stream it.
Well, yeah,
I'm
but
still lost in the chat somewhere, but
But-
See
if
it.
someone wants to find it.
but we all made one, right? All of us
Mhm.
made one. Okay,
sure.
then I'll take all of ours. If you could find yours and throw it into the pictures channel, I'd
Alright.
appreciate it.
I got mine. One sec.
I'm pretty sure it went into general, right?
Yeah. Linkin Park. That's an. Oh, the Rise Against album.
Rise Against.
That's
Oh
a
my
good
God.
choice. The Shinedown album. Let's go. Oh, I like this so far. This is good.
So
Ghost.
no.
Sherry, I love you.
Yeah, I know the
So
majority. Of
I have to explain my list a little bit because it's first of all there's some really weird albums on there. Number one, any of like for example, there are a few artists on here that represent their entire discography. That's like Avenged Sevenfold, and like I love all Persona music, but I didn't feel like putting 3 albums worth of stuff was worth it. So and I was like, let's get in more things. So this represents like Persona 4, Persona 3, all amazing soundtracks,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the Lonely Island's entire discography. I think that's a work of art.
Yeah.
It's performance art. And as well as the Attack on Titan soundtrack. From hands down, all of it is good.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one miss.
Sherry, I really like some of these. Like the
I
Attack
like
on
a
Titan.
lot of these.
Like I will say, like some of them I haven't like listened to, so they're not like. But like that Rise Against album fucking slaps. Like
I'm intrigued by your choice to have the Kamikaze album there, though.
So I have a reason for that, and that's
Okay.
like because I was just debating whether or not what album I wanted to put Eminem in, because Eminem is just like has so many good songs, but there's something that really stuck to me when Kamikaze was released, because we both just started college, Eli,
Yes.
and we were like, and it was like a random Tuesday in like the middle of November whenever he dropped this album, and then everyone looks at like their Instagram, and it's like everyone just like looks at each other. Did Eminem just drop an album?
Yeah.
No warning?
It's basically a hit piece on Machine Gun Kelly.
fucking
It-
Christ.
Do we
It was a hit
have
piece.
a music bot in the server?
Not anymore.
Oh, all right.
It's not like we could play it anyway.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was debating between Recovery
Oh,
and
fair
this
point.
album. For,
Both good.
for Eminem.
Both good choices.
I will say, like, I will like his new album, his newest one, Music to Be Murdered By, is actually like really solid. Like,
I haven't listened to it yet. I should give it a listen.
it was in 2020. It's you know the song Godzilla, Eli?
No, actually, I don't.
Really?
It's the one with Juice World.
Yeah,
Oh.
I haven't listened. I haven't listened to Eminem in a while. Like I've been on a kick of like Blink-182 again because they're my favorite
When we were
band.
young.
You
Yeah.
know, if you just look at my
Like
face.
as much
I'll
as
be
I
honest with you guys. I feel degrees separated, as I think my typical music choices are a couple layers away.
yes.
Same, Todd.
I will
Well-
oh, go ahead.
So I just froze. Go ahead, guys.
Oh, so
We like that.
one of the songs
Consider-
that I like from the Music to Be Murdered By album is like, as much as I hate Ed Sheeran, I will say those kind of nights, that song is actually pretty decent. Like I do like that song.
Would you say if you had to expand your 3x3 out, would you have included a Eminem album in it?
That's hard. I wouldn't say I ever like sat down and listened to an Eminem album. Like I like a lot of songs from him. Like some of my favorite songs by him are Puke and Mockingbird and other things like that. But I wouldn't say like his like a full collective album would like make it on my list personally.
That's
I'm there with you.
That's kind of why I chose Kamikaze, because of the Eminem albums, Kamikaze was the most songs I actively listened to. The problem with Recovery, it's such a big album that I listened to the top like 6 songs, but there's 9 more songs I listened to, and this was basically based on, I went through my Spotify and I'm like, okay, what albums have I simply just liked or hearted the most? And I'm like, yeah, these all make sense. Like Threat to Survival, I'll listen to this on loop. The Warning's Error, I have been listening to constantly for the past 3 months. Persona 5, I never skip that. I never skip these.
Yeah.
And Hailstorm. Hailstorm is that's been a real good lately.
Hailstorm is solid. Like they're always solid.
Yeah. Also, for some of these, Magna Carta Cartel is actually contains some of the former band and ghouls from Ghost. This was Tobias Forge's band before and after they left. So Tobias is not in this band. So that's the lead singer of Ghost.
Oh god, their newest album is really good. Like
Impera is a masterpiece.
like how do I say, I really miss a lot of albums that like, or at least the old style of like 70s and 80s rock, because that's like has always been my favorite genre. But like they're able to like mimic that really well, like really extremely well, and like play into those styles that come from that era from the bands that I really like, and that's what I really appreciate about Ghost.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Ghost has just like, I listened to basically all of Ghost, but I would say from top down, it was like I was deciding between either this or Meliora, which is a little bit more like not new metally, but like more modern metal, but like sad modern metal, because it's a lot more down tempo stuff.
Yeah.
Like also some of the stuff in here, like center level Roar is Youngblood Brass Band, which I highly recommend to anybody who isn't quite who like knows pop songs and wants to have a different take on them, because like what they will do is like they have a covers album that like does like Umbrella. They also have Killing Me Softly on this album, American Elegy, or that's not American, is an Elegy, and they're all like really there's something to really vibe to if you want to hear like really brass based music.
What's that bottom right one?
This
No, other right.
that's Youngblood Brass Band.
Oh, okay. All right. I was gonna say.
And then, yeah, Hybrid Theory. I don't need to explain.
No.
It's fucking Linkin Park.
Yeah.
It's the biggest like mic drop to just start your career ever.
Oh, absolutely.
Flyleaf's Memento Mori. I think her and Izzy Hale did a great thing for women in rock. So I'm like, and the albums are solid. So it's just like I had to make it on here. And Para from Ghost, Good Morning, Restrained, Magna Carta Cartel. This is a guilty pleasure of mine. Badlands, Halsey. When I'm feeling like that emotional teenager who doesn't like have that isn't any deeper than just being sad, I'll listen to this. Like if I'm like a really sad, I'll listen to a lot of other stuff. But like for this, I'm like simple, not hard to listen to music. Then there's Sleep Token. This place will be your tomb. So this is a little bit of a deep cut if you like technical / kind of real emotional music, because the lead singer sounds like he's gonna cry after every lyric. That's not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
Rise Against, Appeal to Reason, probably their best album. This is one of the best pop punk albums ever.
Yeah. I would 100% agree.
Turtlenecks and Chains. It has just so many bangers, including the incomparable Jack Sparrow with Michael Bolton.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it really needs much explanation.
That's the song that Will and Claw sang at karaoke, right?
Yes.
No, we would all sing it. We remember like towards we were. It was pretty great. Attack on Titan, don't need to explain there. No one knows the name of their songs, but they're all great.
I mean, Shinzo Sasageo, that's one of them.
Well, that's a bop.
Yeah.
All of their openers are bops.
Yeah,
So-
all their openers are bops, and then even some of their side tracks, like, I'll actually just actively go and listen to. Which, like, I do that for some animes, but none like that. The only other one I could say I could compare it to is maybe Chainsaw Man recently, because Chainsaw Man, all of their songs are really fucking good.
Yeah. Also, when Aaron Meets the Sea, I know Eli, you love that.
Oh, I love that.
That's that. Like you sit there and you're like, this is so happy, but then you like realize, listen to it musically, you're like, oh no, there's slight tension. This is only gonna get worse.
I
Damn
found
you,
the
Aaron.
opener for Chainsaw Man is one of those songs that gets stuck in my head, but my brain cannot seem to remember the exact beats and rhythms.
Like, Todd,
So
there's-
it sits there and like stutters on what it should be, but I have to listen to it to remember
it's
exactly how
actually
it
like
goes.
they have a playlist on Spotify that has a lot of the songs from Chainsaw Man already. So if you want to look at that up, just look up Chainsaw Man on Spotify. It's all really solid music.
Kamikaze already explained. What do you think of the coolest jazz, like very vibey jazz that just sounds good to listen to, and that you just imagine like posting up in a coffee house and taking a smoke of a cigarette or cigar? That's Ear Food by Roy Cargrove. It has Strasbourg and Saint Denis. Wonderful, probably one of the most famous jazz tunes in modern jazz. It's if you haven't listened to it, just go listen to it. I don't think there's a way to hate it. If it's not your thing, you don't have to listen to it. But there's no way to really hate it. It's just good. Alan Mac, Myers, and more. These are like 5 guitarists and singers from various rock bands. Like Myers is from Shinedown. He's a guitarist for Shinedown, and they all sing, and it's like this kind of like blues. It's a mixture of like blues country. And just like it's like what you really want country to be. Lady Gaga, the Fame Monster.
The queen
love this.
herself.
The queen of pop.
I would not expect, like, how do I say it? Lady Gaga is good, and like I would say majority of people enjoy her music, but like I would not expect her album to be on your list. Like, I did not know how much like you liked Lady Gaga.
No, I love listening to it. It's just one of those things that the more because I hated Lady Gaga when I was young, because what was this, like 16 years ago? What, 2008?
Probably. Yeah,
Was when this album came out.
I was in intermediate school, is what it was called. So like, that would be like 3rd grade, 4th grade for me.
That album came out in 2009.
Yeah.
9. Still, I was like, we were some young lads back then, and I didn't like it because I was a much more of a pop punk person, as you can see by the Green Day American Idiot album that's coming ahead, but it's I would say it's aged like fine wine. As my disdain for modern pop grows ever stronger. Besides, like, of course, you're very, very good like pop artists, like I think it was like Alicia Cara, like you're more like Adele. I love Adele, and just like all the.
Everyone loves Adele. How could you not?
I don't know, man.
She's not the queen.
I love her, but she's not like the best ever. But she's like the kind of pop that I'm okay with. So, like when you sing it from the soul, like, even Ed Sheeran I like because it's not like it doesn't feel soulless. I hate soulless things.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, this is aged just. I don't even know. Like every time I listen to it, I like it just a little bit more, just a little bit more. I'm like Alejandro just like keeps bopping. I'm like, man, I hated this song when I first listened to it, and now I'm just like bopping to it. It's got a good beat. It just like sounds good in my speakers.
It's funny how maturity can change your opinion on such a thing. Because I used to feel the same exact way like about this entire album, but now I stand Lady Gaga. You know, fucking I don't care. I'll say it.
I always
it's 'cause
music, I guess.
Well, it's one of those things just because you don't realize that like how much even like people who are untalented like get into pop music nowadays. And Lady Gaga is a classically trained singer that like
She was on Broadway for a while, wasn't she?
I think so. She was with Tony Bennett for a while and like singing basically coffee jazz with him.
Like,
and that was pretty.
One of the things that like for me personally, like how do I say, when I listen to certain like a lot of modern day female pop singers or just like even like how do I say Taylor Swift, like for example, personally I'm not a big fan. Yeah, I fucking hate Taylor Swift. Like that's just my.
Yeah, you got to be careful. We might get some hate views.
I don't give a shit.
The Swifters.
They can fucking come after me. Fucking
No Tay Swifty.
What's the name of that fucking one song that came out a few years ago that was dog shit that was really popular? I don't even remember.
Look what you made me do.
I think most of her music is soulless and only capitalizes on the fact that she had terrible relationships in her past.
Right.
That was by herself most of the time.
But like, how do I say, like, listening?
I think her and Adele are the same age, and Adele is happily married. I want to say.
But like Adele, how do I say? All of her music has a lot of soul to it, like a lot of emotion behind it.
There's a reason she was the James Bond singer for a number of years, or the themes for his movies.
Oh, for Skyfall. Oh.
For a couple movies.
Like, how do I say? Lady Gaga's performance in what movie was it? A Star Is Born, the remake. Like,
I cried the first time I heard that song. That was a phenomenal. I was like, Lady Gaga, and then it's like, and the handsome Bradley Cooper.
And like, even in the new Top Gun Maverick movie, like her song in that movie is fucking great too. Like I
just heard that song today. 10 out of 10. I love it.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Bad.
Sorry.
Listen, that's like I haven't seen it all the way through or listened to it all the way through because I was watching it on someone else's TV on a plane. But that's beside the point. But like I think
today?
No. This was when I was like flying around a bunch.
Oh.
But it was like probably a couple months ago. But I remember I was watching my movie and then I was watching someone else's movie at the same time. It was pretty great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Moving on. Horizon Zero Forbidden West soundtrack, just great. It's so good. Because I listen to this and then I go back to playing the video game and I'm like, oh, it just makes it even better now that I can hear every part of the song.
Yeah,
By the
you're
way,
aware
Sherry,
of it more.
You skipped Threat to Survival.
I love Shinedown. I deeply do. I was debating. I had a hard time because I was thinking between this, Amaryllis, and Sound of Madness.
Yeah, Sound of Madness. Yeah, that's a good one.
Sound of Madness holds an emotional place in my heart because Shinedown was the first band I ever truly loved and just followed, and and it's just like I love the message that these guys do and just what they sing. They sing about with like from very like from past experiences and pain, and they're very like honest band. And I think Threat to Survival, like as much as it's not like the commercial hit that Sound of Madness was, because Sound of Madness is their best selling album. Maybe Attention to got a little ahead of them, but like I think that every song in that album is a work of art. I love it.
Yeah.
Is that good? Is that good for you?
That's plenty for me. Like, how do I say? I've never listened to a ton of Shinedown. Or I should.
My parents were big Shinedown fans.
I've been getting a lot more into a lot of harder, like, when I was younger, I was into like more metal music, heavy rock. Then when I got older, I got out of it, and now like this last year or so, I've started to really get back into it again. I've always kind of listened to it, and I've listened to some Shinedown in the past, but like Shinedown's been one of those bands that I really want to deep dive into like all of their albums recently. I really kind of want to.
So, as a I wouldn't call myself a stan, but I'm very educated in the Shinedown lore. So, if you want a little bit of breakdown, so their most recent album I actually haven't listened to. I just like I've been in a kind of like a different wavelength in terms of what I've been wanting to listen to. I've been kind of like on a girl power trip because I've been listening to a lot of Warning, Hailstorm, and Flyleaf just lately.
Yeah.
But their newest album, I think, is another concept album. Attention. I recommend for the first time you listen to it from beginning to end. Do not, and like you kind of get a full story. It's all a bunch of good songs. I think it's better as a whole than it is individual pieces, except for like Special and like what's the other one? Can't think of the other name of it. Pretty solid. Threat to Survival, I think you'll enjoy every single song on that album, knowing you, Jonah.
Yeah, probably.
Same thing with Amaryllis. Amaryllis is I love that entire album too. I was just deciding between those two. Sound of Madness, banger from top to bottom. You have every different mood in there. You'll cry at Call Me. You'll get angry at Cyanide, Sweet Tooth, Suicide. You'll be yelling Sound of Madness at the top of your lungs. It'll be great. And then crying at Second Chance and like The Crow and the Butterfly.
Like,
and it's
my favorite band, like they just recently went on tour with Shinedown, and like I want to get into them more, especially like after you talking about them, because how do I say, that band relates so much to me, and I feel like Shinedown would to me a lot as well, probably.
No, you 100% would. And then their album before that, which is Us and Them, it's a different feel entirely, because before this, or in between the making of Us and Them and Sound of Madness, there were 3 people who were in the band, and then they left. So that the only people that are left of the original lineup is the lead singer Brett Smith and Barry Kirch, who's their drummer. So it sounds different, but it's more of that. I kind of give it not quite a Seether vibe, but like it's more along that kind of like darker rock type of feel.
Oh, God.
Same thing with Leave Me a Whisper. It's a little bit. It's more raw emotional.
Yeah.
Because their lead singer was addicted to drugs at the time, and so the story of Sound of Madness was he was coming off of like he was finally becoming like he got on the wagon and
he's getting clean.
Yeah, he was getting clean, and then he wrote that album.
Sure.
So you can take an emotional journey just through Shinedown, but it's just. They're a great band. They always hold a special place in my heart.
All right. So tell me about Green Day. How do you feel about American Idiot?
Best concept album ever. Like, this fucking thing was made into a musical. What else can I say? What other pop punk band was made into a musical?
I really do enjoy that one song of theirs from the Surf's Up soundtrack. Sherry, are you alright?
cringe.
What? Okay,
me.
are you gonna sit
Not
there
me.
and fucking tell me that "Holiday" is not a good song? All right.
No, I'm joking. I hate that you called like Holiday, which is one of the main pieces of this album. Like you quoted from Surf's Up and not the actual album.
Okay, to be fair, I'm trying to remember if it
It's
is.
a story album.
I'm trying to
Jonah.
remember if it is "Holiday" or a different one because I don't remember off the top of my head. But to be fair, my first introduction to Green Day was two things. All right, it was the Surf's Up soundtrack, the song that they play right. Oh, it's "Welcome to Paradise." That's what it is.
That's from Dookie. Dookie's another phenomenal album.
Okay.
That would have made it my 6x6.
Yeah.
Not too much, right?
But like Welcome to Paradise is the song I was thinking of. The other thing that introduced me to Green Day was the Simpsons movie. When I was a child, I saw that when I was like 8.
That's all right. Like those guys have been going at for like 40 years. They have their roots in the DIY punk community. They are like as real as it gets.
Mhm.
American Idiot tells a story of the Jesus of Suburbia, him like being on top of the world and crashing down and coming back home.
Jesus of
It's quite-
Suburbia were words I did not expect to hear strung together.
It's one of their songs, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
Well,
like
I never really
so-
listened much to Green Day, so
It's an
Yeah.
8-minute song made up of 4 2-minute songs.
Jesus.
well,
I feel like
but
calling someone a Jesus of suburbia would be a very keen insult in some cases.
depends
don't
on who
think
you're
it's-
talking to.
in a way, it's kind of an insult because he's it's kind of like this complex of someone leaving an area just because they think they're better than it. But like they need a name for the character, and the Jesus of Suburbia kind of sounds cool, so I totally get it.
I mean, it could be a very positive thing. It's all situational.
Yeah. Also, look at that album artwork.
Yeah, it's
The
great.
heart?
That is iconic.
Heart grenade. Heart grenade.
Yeah.
That explains itself.
I how do I say? I think out of every single album, I think that Green Day album is probably one of the most iconic, except for maybe some like older, like the Nirvana album, like The Baby, like.
The baby.
No, I think like seriously, like some of those are like the most iconic albums. That Nirvana album is probably
It's Nevermind.
Yeah, it definitely like. Nevermind
Yeah.
is probably one of the most iconic albums when you think of like album covers.
What about that
Yeah.
Beatles one where they're walking across the road?
That's another one. Yeah, that's true. But
I also think that Dookie, the most probably the best DIY punk album ever. Like Dookie by Green Day. If you're feeling just raw angst and fast punk,
yeah,
nothing like it.
that's true.
Oh yeah.
Okay. On to the next one. This one is this artist is someone who I play the saxophone, I play alto saxophone, and he's the person that I like
Look
this
up
is the
to.
kind of jazz, if I did this professionally, he's the kind that I would play. It's this fusion of post bop, also with the modern jazz, but he also has his roots in your Miles Davis bands, and just he's a very well read. Love his sound. Songbook came out in 1997. It has his probably his one most famous is Sing a Song of a Song. I think Brother Hubbard is on this album, and it's just it's a great if you're into jazz at all and you haven't heard of him, you should listen to him. Also, this is not Kenny G. This guy actually knows how to play a saxophone that isn't soullessly.
Oof.
I can't really explain it because it's I'm just getting a really nerdy musical talk and saxophone technique that I just
Too
adore.
deep down the rabbit hole.
But yeah, we're keeping it at surface level. So going back to surface level, one of my favorite new albums of all time, Little Nas X's. I don't even remember the name of the album, but it put all of his. What was it?
I can
It's
no, I
Montanaro.
can look it up if you. Oh, it's Montanaro.
I think so.
No, this is his full albums. I think it's.
No, it's Montanaro. He's
Yeah.
right. Or Montero. Montero. Yeah.
Just
That's all.
banger after banger. It's got Industry Baby, Panini. It's got Lost.
Paninis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lost in the Citadel. Sun Goes Down. That'll make you cry your brains out. Old Town Road.
God.
Holiday.
Old Town Road's not on this album.
I think it is.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Neither is Panini.
Here's Panini.
Shit, I'm thinking of I'm sorry. I just love Lil Nas X.
You're thinking
My
of
own-
or what album is it? Holiday? That or no? That's an EP. That's a single.
He
Artist grab
he-
bag. Don't worry about it.
it's
Panini's a
that's
single.
what I want. Love it. Montero, Call Me by Your Name. Phenomenal.
Yeah, sure. Little Nas
Don't Want
X.
It.
Just that space is Little Nas X.
Yeah. And his one with Miley Cyrus, Am I Dreaming? Go listen to it. It's fantastic.
Miley Cyrus has taken a weird, like, she's gone from, like, young child star to, like, really edgy, like, weird music to, like, being, like, really kind of, like, how do I say?
Back somewhat normal.
Well, like, not artsy, but, like, a little bit more soulful with her, like...
Well, she's like soul pop mixture, kind of
Yeah.
mixed with hyper pop.
Well, not only that, but, like,
Yeah.
I think it's just how fucked up she was from a young age to, like,
Well, and she's
now.
kind of finding herself at this point, right? Because she started off as like Hannah Montana, right? The whole,
But-
child.
Well, also,
Yeah,
like, she
the-
was riding
the
off her dad,
manufactured pop
or I should
stars.
say riding
super
off her
pop
dad.
music, and then she went into, once she got older, she went into some really weird shit with, like, what was that performance that she did where she was twerking on some dude?
Oh, it was that
Oh,
Robin Thicke song.
Yeah,
it was during like a music award or whatever.
yeah, and she started getting into some weird
She looked like
weird
a
music and
a
everything.
raw chicken.
Yeah.
That fucking meme killed me when that
Yeah.
came out. God, we're
And
showing
now-
our age.
Now
Fuck.
she's kind of figured out where she wants to be with things, I think.
That's true.
Yeah.
I also, there like I think she also had to have like surgery on her voice because like I think because of like all the smoking and harsh singing that she's done over the years. Like
Well, it's
Oh.
it's not even that. The drugs literally ruined her like speaking voice. She can only sing now.
Jesus.
Like in terms of like, it's a miracle she can even hold a note now. Because if you like listen to her talk, it's like not quite to where like, hey, darling, but it's like that kind of like raspy.
No, it is. I've heard it. Like I've listened to her on
It's-
podcasts talk about her experiences and shit. It's wild.
It's like it's very gravelly.
Yeah.
It's like that person's been through a lot, and like I respect the hell out of her for really turning it around.
I used to.
That's
ju-
another artist I need to do a deep dive on again.
I used to judge her a lot for like the shit that she did, like in the like early 2010s like era, like because of like Wrecking Ball and like you're in like late middle school, early high school. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? And now that
Unironically, I liked Wrecking Ball.
like I mean, it's how do I say? Looking back, it's not a bad song. Just like the way she carried herself was like really gross to me at the time. And like even now, still I look back and like go like, no, that's fucked up. But in the grand scheme of things, like her whole life experience and everything up to that point must have been very, very difficult. Especially with her dad being like Billy Ray Cyrus and like I don't know, very rough
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, imagine being the daughter of Billy Ray Cyrus.
I wouldn't want to be.
Yeah.
I'm a guy, Sherry.
Imagine being the daughter of Billy Ray Cyrus, Jonah. Do it now.
Hey,
I don't want to
maybe
be
her
Hannah
name was.
Montana.
Hey, you never know. Maybe Miley's pretty close to Miles.
Hey, did anyone ever
Maybe
see
she-
Billy Ray Cyrus and Hannah Montana in the same room together?
I didn't
Yes.
think so.
Yes, a lot.
my
They were on the
God.
same fucking TV show together, dude.
I don't know what you're talking about. These are fabrications and lies.
They performed live.
How do we know?
together.
How
It's
do
all
we
deep
know that it wasn't Miley Cyrus dressed as Billy Ray Cyrus?
They performed live.
Fair. Sherry, your inclusion of Nier Automata's entire soundtrack is very tasteful, and it hurts just right.
Song of the Ancients, all 4 versions of it.
Yeah.
Just the casual walking around music. Weight of the World gets me every time.
Every single time. It's too bad, like, on the, I'm pretty sure on Spotify, the OST doesn't have the version that plays at the very end of the game.
Yeah, it does.
does?
I found it.
Hell
I
yeah.
listened to like all 3 versions of it. There's also that really weird version that's by Koichi Okabe, who's by the I probably really butchered that name.
Sure.
Who's the writer and arranger and composer?
He was
They
just all
did
by
with
himself.
this. Yeah, he did that with I forgot who it was. It's the one I sent you, Eli. The one that like literally sounds like it's like a crystal chime and someone humming the entire melody, and it's just like haunting.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm not crying. I'm not emotional. I think it's
Definitely
one of the better video game soundtracks of all time. In terms of like, if you want just like raw good music that you don't really need to know the context of.
Sherry,
That.
I think the way you pronounce the name is supposed to be Kaiichi Okabe. I think, but I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure that's right, Jonah. I'm terrible at Japanese names.
How do I say? I've consumed so much Japanese media between anime and Japanese video games and stuff. Like, I'm definitely nowhere near an expert, but like I've gotten used to pronouncing Japanese names.
Do the American thing. Don't apologize for mispronunciations. Just say that and then continue.
Fair enough, Todd. Fucking A.
Top line now.
Purposely pronounce the name as wrong as possible. Don't apologize.
Going out of my way to learn languages so I can say
Okay.
them wrong.
Oh.
That's awful. I will also say that
Arigato.
oh, you monster.
Bonjour.
All right.
That's okay. That's French. But
We've offended enough people.
Let's go on to the next album.
Hey, French isn't a real language.
Why does
Yeah.
it always come back to the French?
Watch
it always comes back to poop in the
that
French.
statement.
Oh.
That statement alone, Pippin, is either going to gain us or lose us views.
The British will like us, but we don't like the British, so...
We don't want British viewers or French viewers. That's a lie. We want as many viewers as we possibly can so we can get more money. Please.
We're just
I
gonna
would be
insult you, though.
astonished. I would be actually curious, not really astonished, as to why exactly people from France or Britain are listening to a Midwest podcast.
Like, I could see, like,
We're not Midwest branded yet.
I mean,
Yeah.
how do I say? I listen to a podcast of guys from Australia, Britain, and Thailand, and they live in Japan. So, like,
Yes, but also within the size range of a current audience base.
yeah.
You never know what we might find. Jem probably got us a few Turkish viewers.
That's possible.
Really?
I would bet there's at least one. Maybe not regular, but I think I remember seeing a comment from someone in Turkey at one point.
Really weird. Okay, fair enough.
Anyways, go on, Sherry.
We're almost through your list. Come on.
Yeah.
I want to start discussing weird niche folky music.
Well, also Near Automata, it's also could be included the Near Replicant soundtrack as well. Both masterpieces, both amazing. Taikuya, God, I pronounce it wrong every single time. This guy, his album Rising Sun, he's a trumpet player, Japanese trumpet player that's from New York.
Nice.
If you want a mixture of like funk, very like vibey jazz, like that's like it's not like really complex because it's literally just guy vamping and then like doing a pretty smooth solo over. I love I love that. I've played some of his songs too. So he's a great artist. Just like a really smooth. He puts effects on his trumpet sometimes, and it sounds like just like freaking rocks, man.
I think it's
On to the
pronounced,
next one.
I think it's pronounced Takia Kuroda.
There you go. Next one is Strange Case Hailstorm. This is their 2012 album with all the songs that you probably recognize from Hailstorm. Like I Don't Want to Stop, Freak Like Me. Let me look it up real quick. Thought I had it up. Ugh.
I Miss the Misery.
Yeah, I Miss the Misery, Love Bites, and so do I. Break In, You'll Cry, Rock Show, Daughters of Darkness,
Here's to Us.
Here's to Us, just
I'm
Mrs.
just
Hyde.
looking at it. I'm just reading
Yeah.
off names that have a lot of these.
Yeah, they're all of those. If you ever get a chance to see Hailstorm live, I get to see Hailstorm and The Warning live.
Damn.
Best concert I've ever been to, hands down.
I'm kind of jealous because I feel like that'd be a band that I also would like.
I wasn't into. I'll get to that later. But Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah.
It's
Makes sense.
Rivers in the Desert. Life Will Change. Last Surprise. Eli, Don't Leave Me Hanging.
Beneath the Mask was my alarm
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
for literal years.
Literally any of the Palace music, Mementos, even like you can just listen to that in the background.
Yep. Phantom, Hymn of the Soul.
Yep.
Into the Metaverse, Slaves and Queens. This also goes. This is one of those that also covers like just regular the other Persona music, like Persona 4. Specialist is I'll call that one out just because it's on top of my head. Persona 5 Strikers takes Persona 5's music and then makes it really rocky and just like it kicks ass.
Chef's kiss.
It's just like it is mwah.
Makes you feel powerful in a game that really is easy at making you feel powerful.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right. Avenged Sevenfold.
Last two.
I'm excited.
Nightmare is a masterpiece. It's probably if I were to rate any of these like objectively, I would say Avenged Sevenfold's Nightmare is the best album on this list.
Fair enough.
All their members are gods of their respective genre. Nightmare is amazing. Welcome to the family. Victim is a deeper cut. You'll Cry on what's it called? It's their 11-minute long one that has the Rev singing. It was a very emotional album because it was right after the Rev died, or they were recording this during the Rev's death, and then they had to bring in and deal with the emotions, and they gave it their all. Like, So Far Away, it's so fucking hard, and you're just like, I don't know how to feel about this. It's one of their best album artworks too. Like look at this.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Bam.
they play their hearts out. They're a good group of guys. They care a lot about their music and their friend, and that's why I love it. Now, The Warding. The Warding, as I mentioned before, is 3 ladies. There are 3 sisters that started playing when they were like, I think the youngest one was like 8. They've been actively touring for like 6 years, and they're like the oldest one's I think like 26 or something like that. And their drummer is they have 2 lead singers of a 3-person band, and they just tour everywhere. They have songs exclusively in Spanish that rock no matter what language you speak. And if you understand Spanish, you'd probably get a little bit more out of it. But like, but I get it because one of their songs in Spanish is called "Narcisista," which I can assume I know what that means. I think it's calling someone a narcissist. But they are all extremely talented and very it's like the more you listen to them, the more things you hear, and you're like, man, the fucking bassist is going fucking ham to enter this, and I'm like, damn, that's actually like, it's like she's like playing the bass line and she's fucking like harmonizing too, and it's fucking crazy. The drummer is singing while doing these really intricate drum parts, and then the lead singer, she's also the lead guitarist, can just like, I love every song on that album. I've been listening to it nonstop for 3 months. Highly recommend it. Go listen to it and all their other stuff.
Fair enough.
And that's it.
It's impressive to say the least. So I have a question for the other people. I'm thinking, because technically we have 15 minutes for scheduled recording time. I'm willing to go late. Is there anybody that isn't willing to go late?
I'll stick
I'm fine
around
with it.
for a while, but I definitely should go to bed
Okay.
before like 9ish.
Okay. So then, how about Todd goes next, and then he can dip if he wants to, and then we can just go down the list of everybody else's.
Let's do it.
All right.
I
Sounds
feel,
good.
I feel like we're hitting extremes in general music choices.
Well, and also I might cut it up in a way where, like, I separate out people's lists by episode, because Sherry's was really long and yours is so different than his that it might be better to just do it that way. But I haven't decided yet. So
Whatever works. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it
I
too
mean, we like small clips better, I think.
it depends. But yeah, like I would probably try and keep Sherry's like majorly in one video, because I think it works better that way. But anyways, go ahead, Todd.
All right. I'll do what Sherry did. I'll start in the lower right and work my way up, because it was kind of first choice. First choice last situation.
Mhm.
So the bottom of my little listings here, because we were just doing a 3x3 when I was involved in all of this.
Mhm.
I decided to just throw something in that I had been just listening to, just off the beat, just for something to kind of honestly work along to, and that's the Mechanicus soundtrack.
Fuck yeah.
That's a robot. It's been confirmed, guys.
I've never played Warhammer or gotten into Warhammer, but I feel like it's something that I'd probably like.
Can you pass the Turing test right now?
Probably not.
I mean, probably.
The music itself will make you jam
I
out to it. Who knows?
New Spear. I posted that to you, Pippin. Did you dig into any of the album otherwise?
No, I didn't. That one was pretty
Oh.
good though that you sent me.
Oh yeah, it's neat. I mean, not the whole album is like that. That's definitely probably the most grandiose there, but a lot of them are interesting at least.
Yeah.
All right, next up, I had Corblund. That was a more recent discovery for me.
That's a good one.
Yep. Just both I Want to Be in the Cavalry and Horse Soldier.
I mean,
just-
the whole
great.
album basically tells the history of mounted soldiers.
generally just really good. Horse Soldier 2 is one that you can listen through and just keep catching new stuff, so I thought that was a lot of fun. It also dug at the history of things on that, so something I enjoyed.
The failures of the cavalry.
Oh, it went all the way up to modern day too,
Yes.
and then got into like with I Want to Be in the Cavalry, both the original and the reprise.
I like how much they changed the lyrics between the two. It's
Mhm.
basically marching off versus coming back.
Yeah, he's super
Completely
excited to go
different
off to
moods.
war and claim a bunch of glory, and then realizing,
Mm.
oh shit, war sucks.
War is hell.
In the reprise too, one I don't remember exactly what the line is, but basically they had lost all of their muster and support from everyone around them before their first uniforms and boots had even worn out.
Yeah,
War will do that to you.
yeah.
All right. And then I had the Dreadnoughts. I found them through their shanties first, which is another note on this list later on. But then I stayed with them for their polka.
Oh yeah. There you go.
I mean, the Dreadnoughts are a pretty good band. Like, I listen to them. I just don't listen to them often as you, Mr. Todd.
Fair. I haven't listened to them a ton as of late. It's kind of off and on. Depends on situation, really. But I really like their general style, bringing a lot of more traditional music into a modern sphere. At least in my tastes, I'm not exactly a snob on the matter.
You're an old soul, Todd, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And then Falconer is an odd one. Has anyone else even heard of Falconer?
I've
Nope.
only heard of it because of you.
Oh.
I've heard of falconry is the same thing.
I mean, that is the album art.
Ah.
I feel like, let me see.
Falconer is different.
I feel
When I first heard them, I wasn't initially a fan, but after a few listens, I started really getting into them. They
You
became,
placeboed yourself into liking it.
I
kind
feel
of.
like I've heard the name before, but like I feel like it's Falconer. The name itself is kind of like not a common name, obviously, but not like an out there name to hear in passing. So it could be that, or it could be something else.
I've only heard of it from the person being who does falconry, a falconer.
That
in the description of a profession.
Oh shit! I didn't realize Volbeat was on here. I've heard of Volbeat
Yeah,
before.
Volbeat's rad.
Yes.
Do you like some of what Elvis was doing?
Wait, are you comparing Volbeat? Elvis?
I'm bringing in. It's like Elvis and heavy metal for some of their albums.
All right, weird flex, but okay.
That's quite a comparison, Todd. I'm not sure how to feel about that. I'll get back to you on that one.
I'm not joking. If you find the right songs, here. Let me grab this. And this is I feel like it's a dead air moment.
I mean, I haven't listened to much of their music, but they are very jammy to listen to sometimes.
There. Sad Man's Tongue is a good one that, at least in my untaste, you could probably assume, or at least kind of tell where I'm hitting on with some of the Elvis vibes.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, the name of the album, The Longest Johns, is very interesting.
Oh, The Longest
The Longest
Johns
Johns
are
is
a
the
wonderful
group.
band.
The
Yeah,
group,
same
Jonah.
Yeah, I figured, sorry, I shouldn't say album name. I should
The group name.
the group name, The Longest Johns, is very strange.
I'm a little mad. That album makes people call me a hipster because I was listening to it a long time ago, and then it got popular on social media.
Racist.
Yeah, because the Wellerman got
Yep.
popular on TikTok.
Todd, you like sea shanties and being racist. No, I'm joking.
Oh.
You are a hipster. That might get cut out.
Eh. You just bleep it. It'd
Yeah.
be funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Use that
but
for
yeah.
all the bleeps from now on. Just cut that and use that.
That's true.
I listen to a lot of shanties, all things considered. I just don't post. I just didn't want to really put all the albums on here, but Longest Johns is just the hold-in for the one that stands out more typically.
I took a shot.
My morning alarms are all traditional sea shanties.
Really? Mine's just Secret Tunnel from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I'm aware of that shit. God.
I switched mine to Gus's theme from the 1997 Berserk anime.
Eli, do you have a problem with my alarm?
Pippin, okay, so the only issue I had with it is when we were living in the house, there was a couple times where you literally just snooze it over and over again. And it was just going off for a long time. And I was just like, God fucking damn it. Wake up.
At least I snoozed it instead of just leaving it to go.
Yeah, I was bad about turning my alarm off sometimes.
See, I would have, like, if I was I was roommates with Eli, but
I was
Technically,
basically living with Bree at the time, so
like, all things, I would have had so much anxiety about that, I would have shut off my alarm and missed my fucking class.
All right, but then continuing on up the list, I have the Brothers Comatose. Just in general, I found some of their older albums first off, and then they've been releasing newer stuff, which I like even more, which is pretty awesome. Here, I'll just throw one of the things in general for anyone who's capable of multitasking with sounds, which is something I cannot do.
What kind of music are they?
Definitely more in the folky country
Yeah.
side of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're pretty good. I have a hard time getting into them just because they're a little bit too folksy for me. but they're still pretty good.
Respect.
Yeah. All right. And then I have, after that, previously known as Mandolin Orange, now Watch House. They're just a very, very cozy group.
So what made them change their name? Did
That
they
I
get
don't
canceled?
know. Never looked into it. But they're just a couple that they just make really cozy music. I'm not sure how else to describe it. It's also very folky, but very calm. It's great.
I dig it.
I would recommend like just bringing them up at some point. Just listen to one or two other things. Probably their more popular stuff first, and see if you like it.
Yeah.
And then finally on the list, we've got Brownbird, which is definitely my favorite music group.
Rip.
Big rip.
Yeah.
They
will-
stop.
I believe the main singer-songwriter passed away from cancer quite a while ago at this point.
Yeah, they make some good music, man. Like it's a shame that that's what happened, but at least we have something to remember them by.
Yep. Their album art out of that list too is definitely the most interesting by
Yeah.
eye.
When you first told me to look it up, I was like, "What the fuck are we about to listen to, Todd?"
God, what the
Literally, we're just
hell?
on a road trip, and he's just like, "Hey, pull up Bilgewater by Brownwater." I was like,
Brownbird.
"Yeah, you're right. Yeah."
And
I
then
was
by
like-
the album art, it's like, what in the hell is this gonna be?
Yeah, I was so confused. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And it turned out to be fucking good.
But would recommend the I don't know musical terms all that well, but like the first drop in or the first that when the guitar kicks in fully for
The opening,
Bilgewater.
the opening riffs.
Opening riffs are that'll definitely catch the ear.
Yes.
Then, as just a random throw on to tack onto the end here, I have not listened to this group hardly at all, but found one song and at least liked the one song so far. I'll just throw it in the chat. Elk Blood Heart by All Them Witches.
Nice.
I like the name of the
catches-
band already.
It catches the kind of the trippy vibes.
They definitely have the witches vibe.
Yep.
It's all about the witches, bitches.
Yeah, give that one a shot if you're feeling musically adventurous.
Nice.
You know I'm always up for a musical adventure.
Love me to be.
So Eli, I want your opinion on this because I got told by a random person, or I guess complimented by a random person when I recommended Brownbird to them, that they apparently capture the same kind of vibes that I emanate.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ah,
They
did you
do.
find a lady?
No.
Aw.
Oh,
Like, obviously, they really capture the vibes that you are, and it's kind of like as I was listening to it more, because like I haven't listened to the full album yet, but it's pretty accurate. It's a good description.
Thanks. Appreciated. All right. Well, I kind of burned through mine pretty quick.
Let's go
Who
next.
we doing next?
I can go next.
Go for it, EY.
Mine is fairly simple, though I will have to make a slight amendment for mine, because that bottom right one, which is where I will start, that is the sensational album from Young Gravy. That has been replaced by the Marvelous album.
Yeah! Fuck yeah! That album is so fucking good.
For those unaware, which if you live under a rock and don't know who Young Gravy is, go listen
I
to his
don't.
music. It's really good.
One thought, two thought, red thought,
Yeah.
blue thought.
I
Yeah,
will
it's
say the only song on Sensational that I wish like was on Marvelous is fucking it was the Tampa Bay Lightning's fucking warm-up song. Fucking fuck, it's the song I listen to the most by him. God damn it, my mind's blanking, but continue, sorry.
That's okay. So the Marvelous album is his latest album. Dropped not too long ago, and ever since it hit, I have been listening to it pretty much nonstop, and it's really good. I'd say the top highlights of this album are definitely from like top to bottom here. So Soiree is definitely a good one. Bussin' is stupid name but really fun song to listen to. Betty, which is a kind of a riff off of Never Gonna Give You Up. Amazing. C'est La Vie.
C'est La Vie is so fucking good,
That
dude.
song fucking jams.
Menage
Dancing in the
a Trois?
Rain.
Dancing in the
good,
Rain
and-
is also really, yeah.
And then Hot Tub I think are personally my favorite ones.
I also like Skiing in Japan. That one's a
That's
good
also
one. Yeah.
there's no real shitters on this album. Like I really like this entire album.
Also, Where They At is funny and just a
Yeah.
solid song. Like,
Oh yeah. So that would be my replacement for the Corner album. Though Sensational is a very good album as well. Poor Man's Poison, the Providence album. Anything for Poor Man's Poison really is really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
They almost made my listings as well, but I just don't quite listen to them frequently enough.
Yeah. So they're like a folk style, and sometimes they hover around in different genres. It could be like a country, or it could be like a rock, or somewhere in the middle, you know. But they're very folky, and it's very clean music to listen to. Like I could go on and on about the stories that are told throughout some of the music that they have.
Yeah.
One of my favorites being one that was popularized by TikTok, nonetheless.
Ugh, again.
Yeah, another
Yeah.
one.
That's another band that'll get me called a hipster because I was listening to them a few years ago.
Yeah.
Some
Hey,
bullshit.
Eli, did you ever listen to that one song I sent you that they collaborated on?
I don't think I did. You'll
You
just
rap
have to-
bastard.
Yeah, this
Shoot,
hell's
what
coming
one-
with me.
What one
Is-
was that?
If We Were Vampires.
Oh, that's it.
I will give that a listen to in a while. But yeah, Poor Man's Poison, highly recommend anybody that's wanting to experiment into folk. This is a good start. You can definitely branch out from there.
If I can, this is just a good moment for me to chuck in another musically adventurous item.
Go for it.
Builder and the Butchers, Bringing Home the Rain.
Yeah, they're
That
pretty
is-
good.
That is very folk, like classic Americana type folk. So
The one I really like by Builders and the Butchers is No Roses.
I haven't expanded through a lot of their stuff recently, but I really like Bringing Home the Rain, and I really like Black Dresses, so I need to listen to more of their stuff.
Mood.
Anyways, sorry
Next
for the interjection.
up. No, it's okay. Next up is Angels and Airwaves. This is their I Empire album, which was released in 2007.
Another very good album.
very good
I was
album.
listening to that the other day.
Yeah. Like, there's not a single song on this album that I skip. Whenever I hear a song from this album, I listen to it all the way through. It is phenomenal. The main reason why I got into Angels and Airwaves is because the lead singer is Tom DeLonge, who is another member of a band that is on this list.
I wonder which one it is.
Yeah.
But he is phenomenal at songwriting, and the music he makes is just great, and I love it. And Angels and Airwaves, I like all their albums, but this is my favorite. So the Linkin Park Minutes to Midnight album, I had a hard
Yeah.
time between choosing that one and
Thousand Suns.
probably, yeah.
Thousand Suns was my tough one to choose between.
Yeah, because these Linkin Park speaks to me in a different way. Because when I was younger, I used to listen to them all the time. So like they were definitely like my go-to kind of like feeling down band. So like a lot of angst in this list. Yes, I understand that, but that's fine. But
There's nothing
Linkin
wrong with that. You've never
No.
grown out of that phase, so at least you own it.
Yeah. So like Linkin Park, I still go back to and listen to, and I still feel good about it. Like there are sad songs that I'm happy to jam out to. And
100%.
yeah, the saddest part about Linkin Park obviously being that their lead singer,
Rip
It's gone,
Chester
it's gone.
Bennington.
yeah, he's gone, and that's a shame. But we get to live on through his music, and I love that.
I think that's kind of why Hybrid Theory ended up getting put on my list instead. Like, because I thought about Minutes to Midnight too, because that was my second choice.
Yeah.
But I think just like all the emotion from the first album just like kind of hits a little harder now that you realize he's gone and was experiencing that pain throughout his entire life.
Up next is the Blink-182 self-titled album, so it's just called Blink-182 by Blink-182.
Yep.
This album contains a lot of their top hits, I honestly cannot ever go wrong with it because I listen to Blink-182 like whenever I'm not listening to Young Gravy or one other band I'm obsessed with at the time, I'm listening to Blink-182. It's just all it is. So it's one of those kind of things. Like I'll obsess over a band, or I'll be on Blink-182. There's no in betweens.
I can confirm.
So like things like Feeling This, I Miss You, Go.
How do we get here right now?
Estadia, All of This, I'm Lost Without You. I love just a ton of their songs on this album. Great album. It kind of kicked off my love for Blink-182 when I was younger, and I've since dove into their discography a lot more since. Up next is the Open Your Eyes album by Goldfinger. This is just a really good album. Honestly, it's a nice punk feel all the way through. There's some nice funny songs that you can listen to, some things that have some nice little one-liners every so often, things that can like just really speak to your inner like fuck the system and life is shit kind of feeling, you know. And I like that. Literally the last song of the album before it turns into like a weird skit is called Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
And it's literally
Great one.
yeah, they just want to have sex with Wayne Gretzky.
Oh my god.
You know, that's fair.
Eli, your
And
taste in music is whack.
I'm aware, but these guys are a great band, and I like Goldfinger a lot.
I actually had them show up on my Discover Weekly this week.
Ooh, nice.
I gotta see what the song was. Hold on. Where did it go?
As a
They always
complete
stick around
side note-
because
Yeah,
I have
Scotch.
99 red balloons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As a
that's
complete
true.
side note, the scotch that I have just finished sipping on, Oban 14,
I'm going on to beer
kind
number
of
4.
strange. Hits the mouth really smooth, swallows kind of hard. It's a bit weird.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Something I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
The song that showed up was "Who's Laughing Now"
Yep,
from
that's
The Knife.
That's a good song too. The Dreadnoughts Todd talked about. He's the one that got me into the Dreadnoughts, and honestly, their music fucking bops, and it's a punk polka, and everyone loves it.
It's
100%.
funny.
Anybody can listen to it.
It's funny. I had no
Very
idea what your taste in music was, and I was like, "Hey, listen to these."
Yeah,
and
and I
sure
was like,
enough,
let's fucking go. So,
You didn't know you needed it in your life.
yeah. Another extremely angsty band, brand new. This album, especially Deja Entendu, I listened to all the time in high school and still listen to the music all the time, even despite the allegations against the lead singer of this band, which, you know, he's getting mental help for that kind of thing, so like good for him, but you shouldn't do that kind of stuff. So I try to separate the music from the person, and that's the only way I can keep listening to these guys now.
Just out of curiosity, I don't know the story. What is the story behind this?
Hold on, I have to actually look it up.
Oh, that's
'Cause,
fine. You don't have to tell it. Like, we'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
yeah, it's if you want to Google it, like just go ahead and you can Google it, look it up, and it's a thing that happened back in 2018, 2019, I think.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a thing. So I'm never gonna be able to see these guys play live, which sucks, but at the same time, maybe it's better off that way, so that way that guy can get the mental health he needs.
Yeah.
And then finally, my favorite Blink-182 album, which is the Neighborhoods album, which honestly was kind of a perfect send-off for Tom DeLonge before he rejoined the band for a while, because he's been prior to this year, he was out of the band after this album. Actually, it was after the EP they released after, but he was out of the band basically after a full album. And this album doesn't have any songs I extremely hate. There's only one song that's like kind of for me, and it's just Mark Hoppus's birthday on 2011. So that's fine. Like that song doesn't need to be good. That's okay. But the rest
Can't
of the
win 'em all.
album, yeah, exactly. The rest of the album I think is perfect, and it's not for everybody. Not everybody agrees that it's a good album. Not everybody thinks like this in terms, at least in terms of like Blink-182 fans. Everyone thinks that it's Blink-182 because it has kind of a very Angels and Airwaves vibe to it for certain songs. But I really enjoyed this album thoroughly, and I can't get enough of it.
Mood.
I think that kind of hits the nail on the head for you because you do have Angels and Airwaves on here, so you're combining your two of your favorite bands, Angels and Airwaves and Blink. How can this go wrong?
Honestly, it didn't. Like, if I could have included the EP that they had, the Dogs Eating Dogs EP, I would have, but it's not a full album, so I didn't want to really include that. But that EP also I consider like an extension of this album, and it's super good too. So yeah, that's it for me.
All right. So Pippin, do you want to go next, or?
I was gonna say if you wanted to, go for it.
No, it's all right. I'll save myself for last.
Okay. I'll say I'll probably have the most eclectic music taste out of everyone here.
Your music taste, how do I say?
It's eccentric.
Yeah, yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
I mean, all of them are hits though. Like, I've heard your music. I enjoy a lot of what you listen to, Pippin. It's just like not stuff I can listen to every single day.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. It really is.
How do I, like, you are the definition of just, like, looking for indie shit and, like, just listening to that.
It's not even indie shit. Like, I have probably 7 or 8 different playlists depending on whatever mood I'm in. Everything from rock to some of the more country stuff. I have a whole ragtime swing playlist, stuff for
like,
classical music, electronica, indie, like a whole musical playlist.
We do the same thing.
How do I say that is the case, Pippin, but, like, you do not... I have you as friends on Spotify. I can see what you listen to. Like,
yeah.
You never listen to anything that I've ever heard of. Ever. Like, ever.
Well, ain't that too damn bad?
You know what you listen to?
Hmm.
You listen to the things when I do, like, Spotify, just like, I'm just following bands from band page to band page. And then I somehow end up with a really cool album. And then I see, it's like, wait a minute. This is shit Pippin would listen to.
Yeah.
I don't even follow from band page to band page.
No,
I
I'm
just
saying
sort of click through
that's-
randomly and hope for the best.
No, I'm just saying that's how I like find like the
Oh,
your
I
artist.
gotcha.
It's like, oh, wait, this is Pippin's shit. How did I get here?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. Where did we start from typically? Was it the lower right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Okay. So starting from the lower right is the album Connector from I the Mighty. I actually discovered I the Mighty within the last couple years. They completely caught me off guard with their music. Sadly, though, they are no longer touring. Last I checked, because the lead singer has some issues with, I think he's got a sexual harassment case against him right now. Yeah. Connector is actually one of the albums that they had an album commentary for, and that's what got me into it. Was you could listen to the music and then hear why they did what they did for certain songs, or vice versa. You could hear what they did and then listen to the music. But it was really good because the music was kind of they tended towards more of the rock type thing, but they had songs that were definitely not that. Like one of my favorite songs on the album is oh fuck, what's it called now? I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head now, but it basically tells the story of this guy whose girlfriend died, and he's about to go to her funeral, and he starts getting all these premonitions. He's like, oh, my girlfriend's ghost came to me in a dream and was like, hey, don't go to my funeral. I'm about to head out the door to get on this flight to go to where her funeral is, and he feels her touch on his shoulder trying to pull him back and say, no, don't go. And then, 10,000 feet up in the air, the fucking wing of the plane rips off. And he's like, well, I'm going to be with my girlfriend now.
You tell me about that song a lot.
Dude, it's such a good song because it's completely out of left field. Another one that they have, it's not on that album, but it's called Dreamer, where it talks about how this guy is, kind of stuck in his own head and doesn't see the opportunities in front of him, or he's like, he has a crush on this girl or whatever, and over and over again, he keeps getting caught in his own head and what could be, and he doesn't realize that the girl has feelings for him too. And I was like, ooh, damn, that shit hurted.
Why is this too real to my angsty teen self?
I know, right? But yeah, I the Mighty is a great. I love the group so much. The lead singer just has a fantastic voice, and he also has his own kind of offshoot thing that's a little bit more a cappella. His name is Brent Walsh. Really good singer. And it's a shame that he's decided to do so. I don't know what exactly is going on with that case, but it's a shame that the case even had to happen, regardless of whether or not he did it or not. I guess my next one is Clamavi de Profundis.
Yep.
This group is kind of all over the place too. They do a lot of music actually from J.R.R. Tolkien poems. A lot of Lord of the Rings type stuff. So a lot of stuff from there, a lot of stuff from Tolkien's extended works, but they also do like some like almost Gregorian chant-esque things that are a little bit more religious in nature, and that just sort of like, I'm not a very religious person, but I actually enjoy a lot of religious music. It resonates with me for some reason.
It's like it's supposed to.
Yeah, I know, right? I caught a little bit of shit, I think, from this next one. An artist called Nate Wants to Battle. He's most well known, I think, for doing a lot of covers of popular like anime intros, outros, things like that. But I think Paid in Exposure is one of his first albums that he actually made his own music for, and it's really good. I really enjoy it. He's kind of a rock type guy too. Lots of good music there.
That was one of the ones I was least like. How do I say? It makes sense that it's on your list, but out of people's like favorite albums, I never expected a Nate Wants to Battle album on any of these lists.
What can I say? I strive to surprise.
Yeah.
Next album is a group called Ripe, and the album is called Join the Wild Unknown. Ripe has a really weird sound because they're like funky, but also sort of jazz, but also sort of pop, and it's a really weird selection of music from them. If you get the chance, Brother Sky is a great example of that. One of their songs off that album. They do a couple covers of other songs, like I think they have a cover of Lola that's pretty good. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not real good about talking about my music interests because it's all over the place, and it vibes with me for some reason. The next album is from a group called Coyote Kid. The album title is oh shoot, what is the album title?
I can look it up for you real quick.
It's gonna bother me. Coyote Kid. I don't know.
It is The Skeleton Man.
Yeah. What's really funny about Coyote Kid is that they're based out of Minnesota, but a lot of their group seems to take like a lot of their music seems to take themes from Southwest type vibes. Like it's a little bit of mariachi, not quite country, but it kind of stems into that a little bit. And on their artist page, they actually talk about how a lot of their music they say it tells the stories of the adventure. The adventures of this made-up character called Coyote Kid, and it's all about like encounters with death, and one of the songs is literally, "I have become death. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do."
Wait, that's a reference to fucking Oppenheimer.
Yeah, literally the first lyrics of the song are, "Lo, I have become death, destroyer of worlds,
What the
collector
fuck?
of souls."
God damn it.
That's a good
Makes me
song.
immediately want
I
to post
bet.
another song by Brown Bird.
But they're a funky group. It just boggles my mind that they go, they're from Minnesota, but they go with a southwestern vibe.
As a fun
You can be
sub story on that same kind of idea, when I was in Texas for my work trip, we had to go to far southern Texas, the Laredo area, and the radio was absolutely filled with mariachi music, and I was 100% game, but my coworker was 120% not game.
That's
I was a little
fucking
sad.
lame. But yeah, this group had it's really cool because they actually have a whole song too about how the Coyote Kid encounters death various times, and it's all about, the song is kind of telling the story of him leading up to his death and going, "Yeah, I greeted death like an old familiar friend. We've encountered each other day to day. We haven't spoken for a while at times, but at the end of the day, we're still old friends because we've had all these encounters." I was like,
I feel like this is taken from Harry Potter, of all things.
it's
Oh.
not.
Nah.
It's very much not. But I can see where you'd think that. But yeah, Coyote Kid, would recommend. Very good group. Next is Drink the Sea.
Is that
from-
the Triforce?
No, the group is called the Glitch Mob.
Yes.
But, like-
I've listened to them before. They're pretty damn good.
Yeah,
But is that not the Triforce in their
it
album?
isn't. It is not the
No.
Triforce.
It
No,
looks like
it is a
it.
diamond.
It
It
is
has a diamond
a
in it.
geometric.
A tetrahedron.
It's a geometric shape because it's formed out of circles and a variety of other things. But Glitch Mob is more electronica. And funny enough, actually, they have a couple album commentary things. They do a lot of work with a singer named Aja Volkman, who is apparently married to the lead singer of Imagine Dragons.
Oh. I
Which-
don't remember
Whack.
what that.
I was like,
shape
huh.
is called, but it's just it's an overlap of circles, and then the intersecting points are connected via triangular points.
Yeah. But yeah, they're electronica. I like their music quite a bit because it isn't overly repetitive. They do a good job of keeping the beat interesting and keeping the song moving rather than just repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. So yeah, Fortune Days is a good one. They have an album. I can't remember what the name of the album is called, but one of the best songs that I ever heard by them was called "We Can Make the World Stop." Would recommend Glitch Mob if you have the chance. Next group is Two Steps from Hell. I discovered them. A friend of mine in high school actually showed them to me, and I've been listening to them pretty much nonstop for the last almost 10 years now that I think about it. But they are primarily classical music. They have stuff for a lot of movie trailers and video game trailers. I think they might even have some music in movies and video games. But really, really good music. They have some live studio or not live studio recordings, but studio recordings on YouTube where you can watch and listen to their group play. It's like a full orchestra coupled with a choir, coupled with a variety of other things. Just fantastic to listen to. It brings chills to me every time I hear it. And the battle
Didn't
cry.
they do Requiem for a Dream?
No. No, I know what you're talking about. They did not have anything to do with Requiem for a Dream, to my knowledge.
Who am I thinking of then?
I don't know. I remember because I used to listen to the album for Requiem for a Dream.
I meant like the song "The Requiem for a Dream," not the album.
Oh, Requiem for a Dream is a Scott Benson band. If you just search it on Spotify. The movie Requiem for a Dream was actually really depressing, but that's understandable considering what it was.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about depressing music and depressing things, just a quick side note for people. If you haven't heard of it, probably have heard a piece of it somewhere. Everywhere at the End of Time. It's a 6.5 hour album, so listen to pieces of it, I guess. But
Wait, is this the dementia one?
yes, this is essentially the entirety of the album is meant to illustrate the different stages of dementia. So listen at your own risk, because
Yeah.
at some points it really hurts, because like towards the end it's literally kind of like static with hints of music.
Oh.
Yeah, I've listened to. I just skipped to the last part just to understand what it was, and it hurt.
Yeah, so it's definitely a slog to get through if you're gonna try to listen to it. It starts off cheery, but obviously because it's about dementia, things get bad. So
Yeah. Yeah, Two Steps from Hell. Battle Cry is a really good album. Would recommend Flight of the Silver Bird, or what's the other one? Victory, I think, is off that album. That's one my dad always hums, and it drives me crazy.
I listened to Two Steps from Hell a lot a few years ago, but have kind of fallen off their radar. But they keep releasing a lot of good albums.
Oh yeah, their album Dragon that came out like 2 or 3 years ago now takes a lot of like Eastern influences, and that one's really good.
What was the album? What was the one with Protectors of Earth on it?
I think that was Hypnotica.
Yeah, I listened to that one a lot.
That one was really good. That was my first album that I bought from them.
Nice.
Skyworld was a really, really good one. I bought that one for my grandpa, and he was like, I listened to that shit on repeat because he's a trucker for a long time.
In high school, I had a superstition because I always used Pandora and still have, because I've just curated the stations to exactly whatever genre I want to listen to when I click into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a superstition that if I was listening to one of the stations and Winter Spell came on, I was going to have a snow day the next day, because it came true about 20 times.
Yeah.
Winter Spell's really good. Like,
It is.
a lot of the times that Two Steps from Hell does their little horn rips. Oh my god, I get chills. They're so
great.
good. Winter Spell is one. What's the other one? What's it called? It's on their Archangel album.
I do not remember.
Oh, that's gonna bother me now. Two Steps. Hold on.
But I know a lot of Two Steps from Hell's work gets brought in for opening scenes from documentaries that are trying to do like big impressive shots.
Yeah, that's not
Like,
uncommon.
The number of times I have recognized one of their songs while watching a documentary has been funny.
Yeah, it's called Norwegian Pirate.
Huh.
Is another one that's really, really good. That's off their Archangel album. They actually have a really good Halloween album too. Like, if you want a song that'll like, I feel like something's in the room with me, listen to Stumpy off their Halloween album.
I might have to dip into what they're doing again.
Yeah, they're good. I guess now we're in the middle of the top row. DJ Okawari.
Okay, you introduced me to DJ Okawari, and I need to go back to them because, like, that lo-fi shit I love. Oh,
Eli had to
Eli.
dip.
that's
Yeah.
fine. I love DJ Okawari occasionally, and I need to go back and listen to their shit because, like, it was pretty solid when I listened to it one time.
Well, first off, his album covers always fucking slap.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, they're just amazing. But yeah, DJ Okawari is down-tempo, real light listening type music. Pretty heavy on piano. He has some vocals a lot of times, but it's It's a real steady beat, really light though, which is it. I don't even know how to describe it. It's really nice to listen to and relaxing. And his album covers are fucking amazing. All of them are as good as his album cover for Perfect Blue, which is the one that I have on that list. Perfect Blue just happens to be the album that I've listened to most often.
It's really good. That's the one that you sent to me saying, I think you'd like this, and you were right.
I really enjoy his music. Flower Dance is one that you should listen to if you're into like the slow stuff. Can't remember. I'm terrible with remembering names of music. I'm not gonna lie.
You're terrible at remembering anything, Pippin.
Shush.
Oh yeah, well you're terrible.
Yep, I know.
Full stop.
Yeah. I can look it up for you if you want.
Let's see. I think it's from his. Oh, where the hell did it go? I'm on his page right now, looking it up because I have dog shit memory. Perfect Blue. Lightning Moment is really good. Perfect Blue, the title song is really good. Nightfall is also a really, really good album.
Also, wouldn't surprise me if Perfect Blue was named after the anime name.
I don't actually know. It wouldn't surprise me, but yeah,
There's
I
a
don't
very
know.
famous movie called Perfect Blue, so.
Okay.
And it would fit his album art style.
I dig it, yeah. And then I guess the last one on my list is Linkin Park. I went with Meteora because I don't know, that's when I started listening to. That was what got me into music, was Meteora.
Fair enough.
My mom had a number of songs that she had put onto an iPod for me, and she's like, hey, you should check out these couple groups, and then you can kind of look through elsewise, but you should start with these groups and see where this takes you. And Linkin Park was one of those groups, and just phenomenal. I've listened to most of their albums and thoroughly enjoyed every one of them.
Fair
I'm
enough.
sensing a through line through most of our stuff.
Yeah,
Linkin Park is the key.
Linkin Park is
I feel
the
like
key.
our age group for Linkin Park was like a very big thing.
Honestly, yeah.
Especially like middle school age us, or well, I guess for me, because that would make more sense because you guys are slightly older than me.
Yes. How old are you again?
I am 22 right now.
Oh,
I don't know about
child.
but I'm feeling 22.
God damn it.
What a fucking kid.
I'm gonna be 23 in May, so
Nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
child.
yeah. But like, yeah, I'm very easily the second youngest person in this call right now is Pippin.
How old are you, Pippin?
In this call right now, yes. Otherwise, it'd be Eli.
Wow.
But I am 24.
Oh.
You're
I turned
2 years
24.
older than me?
I turned 24 a month ago.
Fuck.
Almost
Oh,
exactly.
well, okay, we're
Bro,
we're
I'm
like
26.
2 or 1.5.
Yeah.
No, you're fucking old. But
Compared to you, I suppose.
yeah.
I'm 25.
God
Yeah.
damn, why am I friends with the fucking senior citizens? What the fuck? No, I'm joking. That was a joke. Calm down.
Jonah, it's because me and Todd are the actual old people yelling at the clouds and into the void. Because
Listen,
we don't know what to do otherwise.
If Jem was here, he would be part of that too.
I just have
Yeah,
anger issues.
100%.
Like, that's about it.
We just yell to yell. Isn't that right, Todd?
I suppose, sometimes.
I just yell a lot.
My work's got me in the habit of just grumbling.
Alright. Well then,
Alright, Jonah, where are we going next?
before I start, does anybody else need to leave or no?
It would be wise of me to do so.
Okay, then you can head out, Todd. It's no big deal. Don't worry about
Right
it.
on.
All
Catch you guys later then.
Bye.
I will pause briefly to go grab some bread, but I will return momentarily.
Okay.
This boy getting bread.
Everyone's
Get
leaving
this
for
bread.
my songs.
Yeah, fuck you, Jonah. No, I'll be back in a second.
All right, bye. I might make like maybe one amendment, but I have a bunch of honorable mentions that I want to bring up.
30 minutes later, Jonah, get to the list.
Well, how do I say? No, I'll just rattle them off at the end. But I will say, dude, fucking like 2 days from now, Nakey Jakey is releasing his album. Finally, after a fucking almost a year after he said he was initially gonna release it, and I'm excited. Like,
Listen, Jonah, I'm an Avenged Sevenfold fan. I've been waiting for the promise of a new album for like 4 years now.
well, like, how do I say? Well, Jakey's said for a long time he's been talking about releasing an album, probably like 4 years roughly. Maybe not quite that much, but close to it. But like last year, he was like, "Okay, I'm finally releasing it in a month," and then almost a year later, finally fucking is releasing it. How do I say? His music isn't like crazy. Like you've heard. I've played some of the songs to you. It's not like he's the best vocalist or the best lyricist, but his music relates to me a lot, and I just enjoy listening to his beats. I'm excited to go over my list, even though you say I'm uncultured.
You gonna out me like that, Jonah?
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking out you like that. You said my music taste is uncultured.
It was mostly a joke.
Okay.
It's more. It's a lot. There isn't as much spice in there as like maybe a Pippin.
Well, yeah,
or
because
like,
I'm not fucking Pippin, dude. My favorite music and albums and everything like that. I will admit, I'm not a big album listener. For me personally, I tend to listen to artists rather than just going and deep diving into albums. So this list is like, it is a list of some of my favorite albums, but it really more so represents the bands I like, typically. I'll start at the bottom right. The Disturbed Down with the Sickness album. Like, when I was growing up, my brother, how do I say, was much more into like early 2000s music, heavier like edgy music. Some of his favorite bands were like Blink-182, Aiden, and like some other bands kind of similar to that vibe. Aiden's kind of a weird one. But he liked that like early like 2000s edgy music, and that I kind of listened to that. Like, I got a list, like my first album that I ever kind of listened to was the Down with the Sickness album, and that like kind of introduced me to this rock style of music. And it's like every song on that Disturbed album is fucking amazing. Like, it's great. It's a fucking banger.
it is a great album. For me, I'm more of a, I can't remember the one. It's where he kind of looks like a mountain. It's like the face with the mountain.
Nah, it's the one with 10,000 Fists, right?
I think it was the one after that. It was, it wasn't 10,000 Fists. It was, I want to say, Indestructible.
Yeah. Fuck. Is it Immortalized? Is that the one you're thinking of? Because that looks like...
It was the one that had the Sound of Silence on it.
Then that would be... Yeah, that'd be Immortalized, because that came out way after, like... Down with the Sickness, that album came out, like, way early. Like, that came out in 2010, I want to say.
That was... I believe that was their first album.
The Sickness.
If I remember that...
No, that wasn't their first one. 10,000 Fists came out...
No, I was talking about Down with the Sickness.
Well, yeah. Oh, wait, no, The Sickness did come out, like... Yeah, that is right, because The Sickness came out in, like, 2000... Okay, I was looking at Spotify. Spotify was telling me wrong.
It was
2000 is when it came
it was
out.
in 2000.
Yeah.
It was the album was called Indestructible, by the way.
Oh. Yeah, Indestructible is a really good album. Like, a lot of the albums, or a lot of the songs on that song are fucking great. But for me, like, that first album where you have, like, Voices, The Game, Stupefied, Down with the Sickness, Violence Fetish, like, Shout 2000, which is a cover of Tears for Fears, Dropping Plates, like, The Game. All those songs are fucking awesome. Want is fucking great too. Like, I love every single, like, song on that album. There's, like, one song maybe that I don't like that much on that album. The next album on my list, how do I say, this one is kind of more so what I said earlier when it was like I chose like an artist rather than specifically an album, because Johnny Cash, for me personally, his songs are, I don't want to say hit or miss, but his songs for me, like, his style of music either really hits home for me or it doesn't. Like, that classic, like, folky style music that he has, I'm not as big of a fan of. But I do like it when a lot of his songs really hit me hard. Like Folsom Prison, God's Gonna Cut You Down, Hurt, things like that. And on this album, kind of spoke more to me on that side of things. Then
well, that's old Johnny Cash. That's like, I've been smoking and I'm gonna die Johnny Cash, so it's extra emotional.
Yeah, and like for me, that always hit more home rather than like, I don't know, like, I like a lot, like, all of his classic stuff is great, but when you get to certain things, it's just not my style personally. And like, I'm not going to sit down and listen to hours and hours and hours of, like, I don't know, what is some random Johnny Cash, it doesn't really matter, but...
Walk the Line?
No, Walk the Line is great. Actually, I do like Walk the Line, but like Girl from the North Country, that song, like, that song is kind of like,
it just doesn't do it for you.
No, right. Like, Jackson
it doesn't
is
scratch the proverbial.
Yeah.
It doesn't scratch the proverbial balls.
Yeah. And like, I listen to Jackson, and Jackson is fucking great. But I look at Jackson and then I look at The Man Comes Around, or like fucking Hurt, or God's Gonna Cut You Down, and I'm like, that one. Like, it's not even a fucking contest for me. The next one, this Toto album, how do I say, you know, when I first listened to Toto, everyone listens to like Africa and everything like that, and like, oh, that's an airplane. I hope it's not picking up on my mic. Who cares?
I can hear it.
God damn it.
A little bit, but it's
whatever.
Maybe you can edit it. Maybe you can edit it out.
Yeah, who gives a shit? Toto is one of those bands where when I first listened to it, like, I listened to Africa, and Africa is probably, like, honestly one of my least favorite songs by them. I, like, randomly, I listened to just a couple of their songs, and I realized they're all from, I think this is Toto's first album, if I am correct. And this album is, how do I say, one of my favorite albums, just because, like, once again, every song on this I enjoy. Like, every single song on this album I enjoy. Like, you have I'll Supply the Love, Manuela Run, like, Rockmaker, Hold the Line, Angela. Like, every single song on this album is fucking amazing. The only song that I vehemently hate that is so out of place on this song is You Are the Flower. I don't like that song. I fucking hate
But Jonah,
that song.
you are a flower.
I hate that song so goddamn much. But that's just because it's not my personal style. Like, I'm sure a lot of people like You Are the Flower, but for me, not it.
I've never heard of it, so...
It's not it feels so out of place for me in that album, but it is Toto style, but I just don't like it. Now, the next up, once again, similar to Johnny Cash, this is kind of more an artist thing, because how do I say, I probably should have put the Beatles' one album, but I felt like that was cheaping out because that's a collection of their greatest hits. So I put Let It Be, because Let It Be has songs that, once again, like every single song on, or every single album on this list kind of speaks to me, or I just vibe with that music. Let It Be has my favorite Beatles songs on it, and Let It Be is one of them. Granted, the only song that isn't on here and is probably my favorite Beatles song is Eleanor Rigby, but you have such songs as Get Back, I've Got a Feeling, Two of Us. Like, those songs are really, once again, soulful and really hit home. Like, I don't know. The lyrics, like, if you're ever feeling down in times of trouble, like, speaking words of wisdom, let it be, let it be. I don't know. It kind of, like, it relaxes me, it calms me down, it makes me, like, think everything's gonna be okay. And I really
Let It Be is, like, I'm not saying I have issues with the Beatles. I just, like, it's one of those things that doesn't, like, I appreciate their greatness and their amazing songwriting, but I just can't, like, listen to it a lot because it just, like, for me, it just gets overdone very easily. But, like, Let It Be is one of the very few Beatles songs that, like, no matter when it comes on, no matter what time of day, I just, like, listen to it, and I'm like, my day's a little bit better listening to it. Like, it's sort of like While My Guitar Gently Weeps as well.
Yeah. Happiness is a Warm Gun. That song is also really good. Or I've Just Seen a Face, I think is the name of the song. Yeah, I've Just Seen a Face. That's also a really good song that not a lot of people know about in the mainstream. Like, but for me, like, my love of the Beatles started when I was very young because I think my mom really liked them, and that was one of the few albums that she had on CD. And every single morning when I was like in elementary school, she would put it in because, like, as a little kid, I would just vibe to it. Like, she put it in once and I really liked it, and that, like, early age kind of cemented in me, like, that I really like the Beatles. And then in, like, middle school, I really listened to them a lot more. But then when I got older, like, I started branching out and listening to other things. But the Beatles kind of cemented my classic rock, like, vibes early on, where I, like, got into a lot of classic rock, and that's why there is a lot of classic rock on this list. Next up is Iron Maiden. And surprisingly enough, I didn't listen to Iron Maiden until I was a bit older. It was one of those classic rock bands that I didn't necessarily try and seek out. It was actually because of Jem that I started listening to Iron Maiden a lot more. funny enough.
I believe it.
Like,
he probably exposed you to power metal, right?
He didn't expose me to it, but, like, I listened to a lot more of their songs at, like, recommendation of him. Like, I listened to their songs and knew of their songs, but, like, he had showed me The Trooper, which is their most famous song, and, like, this is after I had started getting into guitar, and that was when I was just like, oh shit. And I just deep dove into that riff and, like, deep dove into everything, like, about them. And I've not listened to every single song on this album. I haven't. Like, I just haven't. But, like, you have Number of the Beast on this fucking album, and Number of the Beast is fucking amazing. And, like, like, a lot of songs on this album are great. Like, Hallowed Be Thy Name, Run to the Hills, like, they're all fucking great. And I really enjoy them. And then this next album is, how do I say, you know how much I like Led Zeppelin. Like, for me personally, like, I'm not good at guitar, but I love guitar. Like, it is my favorite instrument. That much is clear. And I've spent many an hour learning songs, especially by Led Zeppelin, and Jimmy Page is a fucking master at guitar. And yeah, and I looked over their albums, and probably like a lot of people would say this is definitely not their best album. But for me, looking at the list of songs and just like seeing which ones I enjoyed the most, this song probably spoke the most to me, I would say. I don't know.
That's you can. Iron Maiden is just like, I like Run to the Hills and like Number of the Beast, but that's kind of like what I listen to from them, so I can't judge. It's like if it speaks to you in a way that it doesn't to me,
Yeah.
I'm all
Power
for
to
it.
you. These aren't artists I'd normally listen. None of your artists are artists I'd normally listen to. So if it works for you, then great.
Yeah. But like, how do I say? I don't know. Sherry, is there a Led Zeppelin album that you listen to more than like their first one specifically, or not?
I was about to make a really bad joke about Greta Fleet.
Oh,
We'll look
you
at their
fuck
albums real
you!
quick.
I hate that. Fuck Christ.
No, I know it was. I'm just gonna leave it what I was gonna say.
Like, listen, like Greta Van Fleet.
No, Jonah, I agree with you. Also, Greta Van Fleet's not trying to be Led Zeppelin either.
No,
they just
they're
happen
not.
to sing
Yeah.
the same way.
Yeah, well, like, how do I say? Like, they've obviously taken some inspiration from Led Zeppelin, and that's great. Fucking, like, Christ. But, like, for people to sit there and, like, how do I say, compare them so much and say, like, one is better than the other is kind of asinine to me. But that's just my personal opinion. But, like, on that album, you have, like, Good Times, Bad Times, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, You Shook Me, Dazed and Confused, Your Time Is Gonna Come, fucking Black Mountainside, Communication Breakdown. Like, how many more times? Like, that is every single song on that fucking album, and they're all amazing. Like, every single, like, album on this list, I always gush over every single song, but, like, this one, like, how do I say, it's not even just me. Every single song on this album is almost a fucking classic. Like, that is one of the reasons why I like this album, and I think this is one of their best albums, at least in my opinion.
See, I'm more of a Led Zeppelin 2 and 3 type of person.
That's fair. A lot of people think those are better albums, and, like, I'm inclined...
It's just they have more of the songs I like
That's
are on those
yeah.
albums. But number one is still good.
See,
Number one is still good.
what is it? Misty Mountain Hop? See, it's crazy to me that, like, Led Zeppelin has so many Lord of the Rings references in their music. Because, like...
Huh.
Yeah, because Misty Mountain Hop literally has a ton of references to it, and so does, I believe, Black Mountainside, but maybe I'm misremembering. But, yeah, Led Zeppelin has a lot of Lord of the Rings references in their music. It's fucking great.
I didn't even realize. That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's fucking awesome. Because, like, in Misty Mountain Hop, they have, like, a lyric specifically, like, referencing, not Middle Earth, but, like, Mountain Doom or something similar. I forget which lyric it is, but it's something like that. And when I heard it for the first time, I went, what? Oh, I'm looking at Spotify because, like, this is a little off topic, but I'm looking at Spotify because there's, it gives me the information I want. Childish Gambino just did a collab with somebody, and there's a new song release, so I'm going to listen to that later. But next up, Camp. Now, when I listened to this album for the first time, I did a whole deep dive on Donald Glover, and because I had watched Community. Somebody introduced me to Community. I wanted to start listening to his music. I listened to a few of his songs, and I was hooked. I've never related to an artist probably more than some of the music he puts out. Like, songs like Sober, fucking That Power, Let Her Home. Like, a lot of those songs, like, specifically, like, are about heartbreak and other things like that are really meaningful, really impactful, and that I really related to. And other songs on that album, like Bonfire and All the Shine, are just, like, really uplifting, really hip-hoppy beats, and like really like get you going and really are really enjoyable. And that's one of the reasons why I really like this album. It is probably, if not my favorite album on this list, one of my favorites on this list.
I don't know.
Then you have the Jazz album by Queen. And how do I
Queen.
say
Hey, that's not
Quality.
jazz.
what?
It's not jazz.
Well, it's not jazz, but it's fucking close enough, man. Come on.
Listen, I respect Queen from an artist perspective, and they are amazing. I don't think they had a bad song, but
They've had a bad
this
song.
ain't jazz.
They've had a bad song, believe me. I've listened to every single Queen song. Like,
Do you dare take the name of Freddie Mercury in vain?
yes, there's at least one bad song by them. I can say that with confidence.
Is it God Save the Queen?
No, well, that might be on there. Honestly, their last album, surprisingly enough, I don't like it. Like, granted, Freddie Mercury was dying, they recorded it, and like you can obviously tell there's a lot of emotion behind it. But that being said, it definitely like they go from what they're like accustomed to and used to like throughout like the 70s and 80s, and then you can see that like it in this era they're shifting their music to something else, which is fine, but for me it just doesn't work. Like, I just don't like it that much. But granted, Freddie Mercury is a fucking genius, and like that single that they unearthed and released, like Time Waits for Nobody, is fucking amazing. Like I listened to that on repeat for like ever. But this Queen album, like, I love Queen. Queen was probably like my favorite band for a really long time until recently. And basically Jazz just has all of my favorite songs on it. My favorite song by Queen is probably Jealousy. I love Jealousy. I think Jealousy is an amazing song. It speaks to me a lot. Like I said, I'll reiterate that over and over again. It speaks to me, it speaks to me, it speaks to me. But you have other really funny songs like Bicycle Race, and then just hard rock songs with good riffs like Don't Stop Me Now, like Dead on Time, Let Me Entertain You, If You Can't Beat Them. Like, they're all great, and I really enjoy them. And that's why Jazz is on that list. And then finally...
But Jonah,
What?
it's not jazz.
Fuck you, Sherry. Quit making the same joke. Pippin, do you have any input?
For what?
I don't know, I was just curious. You're just very silent.
Most of these I don't like. Queen is the only one who I really know anything about, and even then I don't really know much about Queen.
That's fair.
Like, most of this music is stuff I wouldn't like. I don't hate the Beatles, but it's definitely not something I would consider listening to.
That's fair.
Iron Maiden, pretty good, but I don't know any of their music off the top of my head. I just know that they make pretty good rock music. Same with Disturbed. Disturbed is a little more angsty though, right?
Yeah, they can be, yeah. Definitely.
I know some Johnny Cash songs. That's I mean, I don't he's not one I regularly listen to either. A lot of this music it was kind of the same as with Todd's music, where a lot of it I don't normally listen to.
That's
Or
fair.
I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to.
I was just curious what your input on it was.
Oh, you're good.
No, you're fine. Like, I just wanted to hear your input because you were very quiet. That's all.
Yeah.
So,
A lot of it is I'm not sure. It's not something I normally listen to, so I don't really have any input for it.
yeah. Over this last summer, I started, like, I think, actually, funnily enough, I think it was because of Stranger Things, which is kind of weird. I'd listened to Metallica before, and like I've listened to a lot of their albums and done stuff like that, but like the new Stranger Things season with like Master of Puppets and stuff like that led me down a path of listening to a lot of like more heavier metal stuff. Like Battery is fucking great, and so is like once again Master of Puppets and stuff like that. But when I started to get sick of listening to those songs, I started branching out. And I listened to a podcast, and the lead singer of Asking Alexandria was on that podcast, and I was like, "Oh, I've heard of them before. I want to check them out." And I listened to them, and their newest album very quickly became my favorite album, like probably of all time. And
All right.
all their songs on this, like, how do I say? I don't know much about the lead singer or like the band themselves, but every single song on this album is like the entire name of this album is called See What's on the Inside, and you can very clearly tell there's a theme with all of their songs where like one of the songs is Alone Again, Faded Out, Never Gonna Learn, If I Could Erase It, Find Myself, like you've made it this far, See What's on the Inside, and like Misery Loves Company and other things like that. Like a lot of it is like very depressing titles and things like that, and like not necessarily depressing music, but like it's very emotional. Like it hits you into
Very
your core.
raw.
Yeah, it's
Like,
very raw.
You can tell that they're singing with like actual like feeling.
Oh,
which
definitely.
Which is probably one of if there's a through line in any of these, that it's like that almost all of us like just like emotion in their music, or just like fully committing to the music, like in Polka. Because Polka never dies.
Polka is the gift that keeps on giving.
You can say that. I really hate that the analogy was made between Polka and Asking Alexandria, but we can move on. All right. So like a lot of these songs, like a song I'm learning on guitar, it isn't on this album, but it is by this band, and it is Alone in a Room, and there's an acoustic version of that song.
That's a good song.
It's fucking amazing. Like, and the lead singer, his vocals, like, he can go from being like this really raspy, really fucking gritty like music, and then all of a sudden he'll just hit these like amazing notes that are very smooth, and you're just like, holy shit. And I don't know, I love it. I want to see them live. I have a signed CD by them. Like, I need to see them live before like the end of this coming year. But yeah, that pretty much sums up my list. However, I'm gonna rattle off some honorable mentions that'll be very quickly.
Well, and that's where we'll end our podcast.
You motherfucker. No, if you have like 25 fucking songs, I can rattle off my honorable mentions, you fuck.
Hey, I had 25 albums. If I would have went songs, we would still be here.
Alright, so I've split up into two groups. One is albums, one is OSTs, because you had some OSTs in your list. The Lord of the Rings soundtrack is on there. The Last of Us soundtrack is on there. Game of Thrones, La La Land, Witcher 3, Tick Tick Boom, and surprisingly enough, Undertale made that. Like,
Tick Tick Boom almost made it into mine.
Yeah, Tick Tick Boom is really good.
Pretty great.
For albums, Elliott Smith's Either or. That album is fucking amazing. Very depressing, very sad, but I like it. Another band, I didn't put it on this list for the simple fact that they're too new to me and I haven't listened to enough of them, but I Prevail's Trauma album is really good. Like, really,
I
really
Prevail
good.
is... Aren't they a fairly religious band? Or am I thinking of someone else?
If they're very religious, I kind of be surprised, because one of their songs is called Self-Destruction, and there's a lot of swearing in it.
Well, maybe
Probably
they're
thinking of
really
someone else then.
Like, I'll look it up real quick, but I Prevail, Self-Destruction. Like, one of the songs in it is, or one of the lyrics in it is, tell me that you hate me and I'll tell you that I fucking love it. Tell me you'll save me and I'll tell you that you're saving nothing. Tell me about your demons and I'll tell you that I've got a dozen. I'll take them on my path to self-destruction. I don't know, maybe. That actually would kind of make sense, but
I love how you convinced yourself that it made sense.
I mean, but like some of their lyrics are. You're probably thinking of not. Is it Skillet? Or
No, I know Skillet is. I'm not thinking of them.
fucking who is it? There's a very religious band that you're thinking of that I know who you're talking about. It's not. I don't think it's Skillet.
Ashes Remain. That's what I was thinking of.
Skillet is the other one. Skillet is a very religious band because they have songs like Monster and Hero that like are all very religious.
My ex was a huge fan of them and also very religious. So
yeah, Marvelous, like Eli had talked about, and then Polyphia's newest album, Remember That You Will Die, is a really good album. Really fucking good. All of the guitar in that fucking album is amazing. Fucking almost, how do I say, God tier. Like, it is some of the best guitar music that I've heard in a very, very long time. And then finally, John Mayer's, I believe it's Gravity album, I think is the name. Yeah, Continuum. It's Continuum. That's the name of that album. That album is also on this list. But that would wrap it up for my honorable mentions. And should finish up this episode.
Fair. Yeah, I need to get going to bed soon too.
Yep, same.
Well, we'd like to thank you for listening in on this one episode or multiple episodes, and hope you all have a good rest of your night.
Bye.
Adios.
Click.